All right. Hey, people. Ah, there you go. It's so annoying when that happens. The window capture's kind of messed up. All right. Let's continue where we last stopped. No cam today. Still not feeling 100% well, but whatever. Not that it matters. All right. Wait. I have a feeling certain scenes will show up today. Because the first one popped up yesterday, and I was kind of caught off guard. It was a good thing I was recording yesterday instead of like streaming. So, all right, I'm ready, sort of. All right, let's continue. The sunlight raced through my window shortly before my alarm ruined the morning silence. I feel sore. The events of the previous evening suddenly intrude upon my consciousness, and I find myself blushing. That was an eventful evening, and it explains perfectly the soreness in my lower back. The walk back, as I recall, had been rather tense. My trousers had been soiled. Soiled? What? Did he shit himself? What? I had washed them off in the bathroom before going back into my room, but there was a fairly obvious looking stain on the front. Oh, he's just talking about when they first did it, they were both wearing clothes and they were essentially rubbing each other. Soiled. That's, when I hear the soil, I think to myself, he shat himself or some shit. But there was no indication that should happen. it was weird. Anyway, never mind. It's just weird, man. Fortunately for me, the only person I ran into on my way back was Kenji, and he didn't notice a thing. Dude's blind. Partially blind, but I don't know if he could smell some stuff. But he's a dude, so. Well, apart from my being in general vicinity, of course he'd ask how the night went and whether or not a lord of anything of importance. I don't even know if I opened my mouth to answer. I was too tired to care. And this morning, I'll admit that I'm pretty worn out. Bro, you still need to run. Still, Emmy promised to meet me in the track, and I hate to disappoint. Good. She is indeed waiting for me when I arrive. Well, she can be like coach mode, She'll watch you run. So that'll still motivate him, right? At least Emmy's there watching him. At least that'll motivate me personally. Anyway, doing her best to look cheery, despite the fact she's sitting in a wheelchair. I wave to her and begin stretching. You're early. Emmy frowns and shakes her head. Ridiculous. You're late. Overslept, Hisao. All tuckered out? Well, at least she seems more like her old self. And as expected, she doesn't seem that shy about mentioning our previous activities. Hey, you're lucky I could show up at all. All that cardiovascular activity last night. I nearly thought I'd had to see the nurse afterwards. Emmy laughs out loud, then her face suddenly becomes concerned. Hey, that's not, you're not. Go on. Spit it out. It's just that would be hard to explain if you had an episode while we were. Well, considering how it went in Lily's route, he literally did have an episode while doing it. But I think the difference between this route and Lily's route is at least Hisao is exercising, so I can imagine he has a bit more endurance here, so to speak. So, Hisao. Oh, now that you mentioned it, it really is a legitimate concern. I certainly hadn't thought of it last night. Of course, other more pressing concerns have been at hand. Well, I don't think anything we are do is going to be any more of a strain than those morning runs. and handle those fine. So Emmy considers this point. A devious light appears in her eyes. Say, hmm? The light vanishes, and Emmy grins ruefully at me. I can't help but feel vaguely suspicious. I seem to have forgotten a pair of gloves. What do you need gloves for? Emmy indicates the chair upon which she is seated. For this, of course. Sure, regular moving around is all in well and good without them. But I want to be able to get a good workout. Oh, she's gonna run, so to speak, with her wheelchair. I thought she'd at least wear her PE uniform while in a wheelchair, and you know, I don't know, man. I haven't watched Paralympic Olympics, and if there's a wheelchair racing category, there might be one. I actually don't. You know what? I'm gonna search it up because I don't. Paraplegic Olympics wheelchair race. There is wheelchair race. There is a wheelchair race. What else? Wheelchair basketball. There is a wheelchair basketball. Nice. All right. That answers it for me. And to get that kind of speed, you gotta have gloves. You don't want blisters. So what? Are you wussing out on me then? Do I have to go it alone? Emmy thinks for a minute and pretends to think. If I remember right, there's a spare pair or two in the track shed, so she does seriously want to do it then. But in a normal school uniform, I'd expect her to wear her gym outfit for something like this. Yeah, I was also thinking about it because I was wondering why she was wearing her uniform. She's gonna also work out to some extent. Wait, what are they doing there? Emmy looks askance at me. Seriously, you can't think of why a shed full of track supplies at school for the disabled would have racing gloves? Well, when she puts it that way, I suppose that makes perfect sense. Hey, I'm still getting used to this place. Give me a break, huh? I guess I can let it slide this time. Now, come on, I need your help. I can't imagine what for, but then again, I don't have a clue why racing gloves would be in the shed. So, I'm not willing to press the issue. Oh man, they're gonna do something on the shed. Oh man, I've seen this so many times. Emmy navigates her way through the shed easily enough, though I can hear her grumbling under her breath. It's actually kind of cute. I hurry a little to reach the door open. Opening it will be easier for me than her. The door opens, and Emmy starts to wheel inside, only to come to a sudden halt at the doorway. It seems the door sill is slightly too high for her to get over by herself. She makes a few runs at it, unsuccessfully, before crossing her eyes and glaring at the offending object. Stupid wheelchair! Hisao, can you give me a hand here? Sure, no problem. It's a simple enough matter for me to bump Emmy over the doorway, jostling her slightly. Hey, easy there. Whoops, sorry. It's about this time that I fail to notice where I'm going and run Emmy's chair into a mat. She gives a startled yelp and topples forward over her chair. There's a moment of silence as I gaze in horror upon what I've done, and Emmy glares at me. Hisao. Yes? Promise me you'll never work at the hospital. Sorry, I didn't mean to. Emmy giggles and holds up a hand. Would you kindly help me back to my chair, Hisao? As I bend down to pick up Emmy, she grins in triumph and puts me into a kiss that quickly has us both entirely unconcerned about getting her back into the chair. I know it! I knew it! I knew it. I gotta be ready. I'm gonna turn this on. Okay, maybe we're still good. In fact, As I move to a more comfortable position, I confess that the chair is pushed out the door, which, startled by the passage, swings shut. Oh, fuck! 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 I knew it! I knew it! I knew it! You didn't see that, guys. You didn't see that, guys. You didn't see that, guys. Holy shit, you didn't see that, guys. Well, at least we got privacy now, which is a good thing as my hands work quickly to remove Emmy's blouse and skirt. I'm startled to discover that she forgotten to put her bra on today. Did she plan this? Wait, you're going to school without your bra? Holy shit, man. Got me sweating, not gonna lie. No, actually I'm already sweaty for some reason. It's really hot today. Her arms hook under mine and rest on my shoulders as I kiss my way down Emmy's neck, pausing to give special attention to a spot right where the neck meets the shoulder that I found last night. That's a good spot, by the way. You got him pretty good at I do try. Emmy pushes on my chest insistently, and I draw back with a puzzled expression. I've got a confession, Hisao. Oh? Having pulled back, I decide instead to focus my attention on her breasts. As she attempts to speak, her words are interspersed with giggles that I find incredibly cute. I don't actually whoa, wear gloves. My own reply is rather mumbled onto her chest instead of being addressed to her face. Should have known. Words quickly become irrelevant. Ami's movements are almost frantic, as if she's been holding something back since we met this morning, and now she has an outlet. I'm very nearly caught off guard by her aggressiveness, feeling her nearly rip my shirt off, the way she seems to vie to be in the dominant position. For my part, I confess that I caught up with her attitude as well, fighting back, rolling, and wrestling even as I caress her breasts, even as her fingers think, fuck, I accidentally clicked. Wait, there you go. Even as her fingers dig into my shoulders and I lose track of where we are. So much so that I roll right off the mat and land on something small and rather hard. It's out. Ow! Emmy, so flustered and breathing a little heavily, peers at me and bursts into laughter. Emmy, I'm sorry. Are you alright? Hisao, yeah, I think so. Not sure what I landed on, though. I reached under my back and pulled the offending object out, inspecting it closely. Personal lubricant. Lemon flavored. Wait, what? Emmy's eyes shoot upwards and she begins, if possible, to laugh even harder. Damn, they're so ready, holy shit! Somehow, I don't think this is track related, Hisao mentions. Emmy, oh man, I know whose that is. Hisao, what? Emmy, it's the track captain's. My old nemesis. Or kind of. How do you know it's his? It appears I've asked a stupid question, or at least Emmy thinks so. Because because he's the one who told me the track shed was a good place for, what did he call them? Clandestine encounters. It's out. Oh, he invites you to one or something? Emmy bursts into more laughter. I confess the sight of a naked Emmy laughing is oddly beautiful. I feel an eagerness to end the conversation and go back to what we were doing, despite my rather pointed question. Hisao. Oh yeah, this is Emmy. This is Emmy, by the way. Hisao, the track captain's gay. Huh? Hisao. Really? And here I initially thought you two were a couple. Well, Emmy. Well, I did have a crush on him on him when I first joined up, but he wasn't interested, obviously. But we are good friends, I guess. I mean, he told me about all this, you know. Damn, this fucking shed, man. This must be the cook shed. Holy shit. Anyway, it's how I hesitate to ask. And really, I do. But I asked anyway. But what does he need the Lou for anyway? I mean, doesn't how the hell does Emmy always manage to not blush? I mean, obviously he uses it for, you know, anal. I try to suppress a snicker. I fail. Amy's giggling too. His out. And he tells you about all this? Emmy shrugs. Emmy, yeah, of course. He's kind of wild about this whole thing. Says it's feeling that can't be beat. His out. Huh. The air in the trash shed seems charged with some kind of horrible curiosity. That's interesting. I suppose I'll have to take his word for it. What? You guys are... What? Please don't. Just do it normally. What? I mean, well, birds outside stop chirping. The wind dies down. Somewhere, a man drinking a cup of coffee. He freezes with the cup at his lips. Emmy, we could maybe try it. My jaw suddenly and spontaneously unhinges and hits the floor. His out. What? Emmy is finally blushing, rubbing the back of her head ruefully. Well, it's just that we really can't do what we did last night, you know? It would be a little... It wouldn't be safe, you know? I mean, it wasn't exactly a great idea last night. So, you know, we could try this to see if it, is how, as good. Emmy, well, yeah, basically. Is how, huh? Man, they actually, man. Fuck. Emmy, careful. His out, are you sure about this? I'm positioned behind Emmy, who is looking back over her shoulder, looking a little flush. Well, obviously, once we decided to go ahead with this idea, we had to go back into the mood. That accomplished, we emptied the bottle. We emptied the bottle! Would you need the entire bottle? Not that I know of, but we emptied the bottle of lube, and here we are. Emmy, yes, I'm sure. Come on, before I calm down and think too much about this. I really want you guys to think about this. Emmy's breathing is still coming a little heavily, and her response is almost impatient, which is to be expected, I suppose. We were both so close, and it's kind of delaying things. I think we're both gone temporarily insane. At least that's going to be my claim from here on out. I try hard not to think about specifics of what I'm about to get myself into. There's no way this is going to be very clean. What the hell? Jesus, man. You know what? Maybe it's a good thing the guys who are playing Fate Stay Night Remastered right now don't know about Tosaka's defenseless anus. Fuck. Anyways, continue the shit. Taking a breath. This is as much as for me as it is for her. I enter slowly. There's a lot of There's a lot of resistance. It's like both of our bodies are reluctant to actually go through it. Emmy's whole body tenses, and as I'm only partially in by this point, it feels surprisingly good, if a bit odd. I'm totally not into this kind of things. Emmy, on the other hand, looks uncomfortable. Oh man, I wish you guys could see the sprite, the CG. Look at her face. The expression is almost comical. He got that right, man. He got that right. Hisao, should I stop? Emmy's breathing hitches in her throat, and it seems to take a few seconds longer than it should to formulate a reply. Emmy, no, keep going. It just feels weird. She giggles. I can't blame her. I'm surprised that I even managed to form a sentence. It's hot. It feels exceedingly odd. The lube glistens unnaturally. It makes me uncomfortable. I continue to work my way inside her, working slowly and listening carefully to Emmy's breathing. I reach my limit and pause. Emmy looks back again, biting her lower lips. Emmy, are you going to try moving? Or are we just going to sit here feeling silly? Hisao, no. I just wanted to give you a chance to adjust. This doesn't make any sense. How did we even decide to do this? You know the weird thing? The weird thing is their first experience was like with their clothes on. And then suddenly they're doing anal, man. Like not even with the mouth or the hands. What the fuck? They just straight wait. They just decide to go with the ass. What the fuck is this? Oh, they wanted to be safe. I don't know, man. I don't know about the ass being the first thing. Let's continue. I don't think there's really any adjusting to this, Hisao. Try moving. Maybe it'll feel better. Question mark. She sounds doubtful, but I'm certainly unwilling to admit defeat now that we've come so far. I begin a slow motion that seems to work well for both of us, for myself and Emmy, as she closes her eyes in an attempt to concentrate in this new feeling. As I begin to find a rhythm, I begin to feel that familiar feeling away sensation I got yesterday. I close my eyes and try to lose myself in the feeling, except it doesn't seem right. Right? It doesn't seem right. Emmy's not making any noise. I learned very quickly yesterday that Amy is somewhat less than quiet when she's enjoying herself. Oh, she's one of those. As I open my eyes, I see that Emmy's trying to get into things, but it just doesn't seem to be working for her. Her eyes are closed. She's biting her lip, but it seemed to be out of toleration rather than enjoyment. Yeah, you know what? I don't think they built up the right shit to do this, man. I mean, I don't know. I wouldn't know. I mean, this part at least. A sort of, well, this was a failure, but hopefully it'll be over soon look. I'm caught in a bit of a situation here. In truth, I don't want to stop, but at the same time, it doesn't seem to be doing much for Emmy, or if it is, it's coming on far too slower than I am. I feel bad. I want Emmy to enjoy this too. Ooh. I wonder? Well, you know, he could use his hand to rub the front, you know, while he penetrate the back. This guy doesn't know his shit. Anyway, let's continue. I reach one arm around to tease at Emmy's chest, which startles her. You should look at her face. You should look at her face, man. This turn caused her to tighten around me considerably. Oh man, causing a wave of pleasure to blindside me. My gas seems to amuse Emmy, but her grin quickly turns to a gas as I move my other hand casually down in her front. That's a good. He's learning, man. He's learning. I'm beginning to stroke gently at the soft patch of hair between her legs. Ooh, she's one of those. You know, has a bush. The motion of my own hips increase as my fingers' ministrations to Emmy's front bring back the gas and yells that I'm used to. I concentrate only on the feelings of my hands, one now slick and sliding, the other on the thin, soft, and responsive goosebumps in her flesh, shivers and sweat, as her own building climax causes her to tighten until finally I can't possibly. Oh my god, sorry, Emmy. I'm going to. That's all in one word, by the way. I give a final thrust. My fingers dance around Emmy's nipples, dive between her legs. Jesus, man. Emmy's back spasms. She arches up, a high, girlish cry that echoes off the walls, and I feel the wave of my own climax and annihilate all other sensations in my body. Emmy's arms give out, and she falls forward, rather violently, disengaging us and pulling something dear to me in the process. Well, guys, I may have lost the H scenes and Fate Stay Night, and the grand literature by Kino Kanatsu, but we have this shit going on. To be fair, oh wait, it wasn't Nasu who wrote that H scene. It was Takeishi. So there was only one H scene worth reading of all the Type Moon Erage era. It's Kohaku's H scene with Shiki during, I don't know, before they go off to fight Akia. That's story mandatory reading there. That's actually good stuff. And I'm not talking about what they did. I'm talking about the emotional shit. And that was the only time they wrote something good. Anyway, I got distracted over this shit. Let's continue. The sudden switch from pleasure to pain causes me to lose my balance, and I fall forward on top of Emmy. Ow. Oh. I slowly roll off Emmy and prop myself up, breathing heavily and trying to ignore the pain in my crotch. Emmy yelps a little as she rolls over. She grabs a couple of the tissues she kept handy earlier and cleans up before getting her panties back on and awkwardly leaning against the wall. Still breathing heavily, I decide to sit against the wall next to her. The feeling of cold concrete against my sweating back is a welcome sensation. Emmy. That hurt at the end. Yasao. Yeah, this was probably not a great idea. I mean, guys, they went from like 0.5 to like 4.0. Like, what the fuck? There's a lot of things in between, man. Don't do that. Especially the back. What the fuck? Anyway, Amy squirms in order to try and sit down. Oh, you know what? She's gonna feel that for the whole day. She's gonna feel that shit for the whole day. Not gonna lie. I don't know. I don't know that shit, but I heard. Never mind. Emmy squirms in order to try and sit down beside me without too much pain. Judging by her wincing, it doesn't really work. Emmy. Yeah. I'm going to have words with the captain. He was clearly lying. The utter and absolute ridiculousness of the situation suddenly hits, and I begin laughing. Emmy shakes her head and begins laughing with me. Emmy. Hey, Hisao. Hisao. Yeah? Emmy. We're never doing this again, right? Hopefully, man. Hopefully, man. I'm not a fan of this. I'm not a fan of that stuff, man. I don't like. Man. I'm more of a vanilla guy, Let's continue. It's out. Yeah, I think my curiosity is satisfied on this one. Emmy nods. Satisfied. Emmy. Good. I think we should maybe stick to the basics, don't you? I mean, most of this is new to me anyway. Hisao. What do you mean, most? Emmy grins impishly. Emmy. I'll never tell. An unpleasant thought strikes me. Even more unpleasant is the thought of having to ask Emmy about it. Still, after what we've done, it should be a cakewalk. Hisao. Hey, is there a sink? I kinda like to, wash off a little. Emmy's jaw drops. Emmy. In the sink? Hisao. Well, there's not really anywhere else to do it, is there? And I want to avoid the smell. Well, this is why I don't like the shit. That nurse might notice. This is the most awkward conversation I have ever had. Annie, you're right. Yeah, there's it's on the back wall. There might be some soap too. Hisao, thanks. There is in fact a little hand soap, which is better than nothing. No towel though. Guess I'll just have to drip dry. Annie, all finished? Hisao, yeah, they'll do for now. It's not like I'm going to take a shower after we see the nurse. Emmy, glad to hear it. Now, help me find my clothes. He tossed them somewhere. Hisao, hey, you were no better. How am I supposed to explain the hole in my shirt? Wait, why does this shirt have a hole? What? Wait, what? Emmy, sorry. I got a little excited earlier. It takes some time, but finally we're both more or less clothed. There's a frantic moment whether neither of us knows where Emmy's wheelchair is, but we recall it going through the door and rescue it. Okay, I think it's fine. I think we're fine. I think we're fine. I think we're fine. We're fine. We're fine now. Now, be more careful going through the door this time, would you? Pumps are not my friend right now. I'm so sorry we tried this. Emmy shrugs and grins. Well, it was worth a shot, right? And anyway, it was good exercise, right? Can't argue with that. As we make our way up to the nurse's office, I notice that Emmy keeps shifting uncomfortably in her seat. God, this feels weird. Good thing I'm in a wheelchair, Hisao. Yeah, that would have been so obvious. It would have been an anal pain walking. Why is that? Because now I don't have to explain to the nurse why I'm walking funny. Oh. We're never doing this again. The nurse is at least kind enough to not comment on the marks that Emmy left on my shoulders. Oh! So it's so noticeable, I guess. Oh. Nor does he say a word about Emmy's constant shifting in her wheelchair. He could have probably caught it. He would know. He would know. Either he didn't notice or didn't want to notice. All the same, I'm going to have to make sure he didn't slip cyanide into my medication for a little while, just to be safe. I shower for longer than usual, just to be sure I'm clean of our little experiment, and then a class on my bed. Class is in 20 minutes, so I can probably afford a nap. How close is his dorm to the fucking school building that he can afford a nap, man? I'd expect 10 minutes to, I don't know. If it's less than 5 minutes, it's literally almost nearby. What the fuck? Anyway, given the impression is really fun. I have a feeling he's gonna skip a couple of classes because he fell asleep. He slept through a couple of classes. Knock knock. Who's there? That's not how the joke goes at all. I already said who's there. More importantly, what time is it? Even more importantly, what day? I'm suddenly catapulted into wakefulness by both the fact that the knocking still hasn't stopped and the fact that it's noon. Oh man, he skipped morning class because he fell asleep on a school day. Now fully awake, I can remember why I was napping. Better not give that excuse to Muto. Sorry, I wasn't in class. I was experimenting sexually with my girlfriend and it tired me out. Yeah, that'll go over well. I wonder how long this knock is going to continue. I guess I have to answer the door. I'm strangely unsurprised to see Kenji on the other side, though it appears that Kenji is surprised to see me.
What the hell are you doing here, man?
Well, I was sleeping. Kenji nods in understanding.
Knocked out, I see. I told you to be careful around that Ibarazaki chick, man. This is the sort of thing that happens when you aren't cautious.
He makes an attempt to look at the back of my head.
Did she hit you with something? Or was it a drug? Stop trying to touch me!
Kenji produces a flashlight and shines it in my eyes. How the hell? Why does he have a flashlight? What the fuck?
You got a concussion? I wasn't knocked out. Maybe you just don't remember.
This conversation isn't going anywhere.
No, I just had a tiring morning and I fell asleep. Whatever, man. If you want to be in denial about this, I guess I can't stop you. But you gotta watch out for that girl, man. She's not safe.
What?
She's not safe to be around. She's one of their most sinister agents. If you're not careful, there's no telling what could happen. She's brought down stronger men than you know.
What the hell are you talking about? She's not an agent of anything, and she didn't knock me out, okay? I also highly doubt she's brought down anyone at all. Kenji looks almost offended. I have no idea why.
You don't believe me? That's cold, man. Real cold. I'm just trying to look out for you here. That's what friends do, you know.
We're friends?
I have no idea.
Bro, get this guy a bone at least.
Then again,
I wonder if Kenji knows what being a friend even entails. I feel something like pity for him standing there before me. Maybe he does think he's looking out for me.
I know. I'm sorry about that.
Thanks for the warning. I hold out my hand as a sign of peace. Kenji shakes it gingerly, like my hand could possibly be on fire. There's an awkward silence for a few seconds before Kenji remembers that he's still shaking my hand.
Anyway, I need a favor.
What kind of favor? I'm out of money.
No, you aren't.
You got money kept in your desk drawer under a black notebook for emergencies.
Did you ransack my room? That's not important. I don't need money anyway.
He adopts a very serious tone.
I'm about to undertake a major rob. They'll blow the whole conspiracy wide open if I'm right. But it's dangerous. So I need you to do something for me in case I don't come back.
Sure, man. Anything.
What the hell is he planning on doing? Should I be telling somebody about this? So, if I go missing, wait 3 days, then mail my journal log to the newspapers. It's hidden in my room, under a false bottom, in one of my desk drawers. How do I get in your room? I don't have a key.
Kenji looks at me like I'm crazy.
So pick the lock. You know how to do that, right? It's an important skill to learn at a young age.
Yeah.
Of course I know how. I'll be sure to do that for you if you go missing.
I don't think I want to read Kenji's journal. Either way, Kenji seems pretty happy I've agreed to do this thing for him.
Great, man. Great. I'll see you around. I got stuff to do.
And he's gone, dashing down the hallway. He's made it seem so final. I hope I don't have to carry out his final wishes. Shaking my head, I close my door and then walk back to my bed. Guess I should go to class, if only to catch the last half of the day. But I've come this far without going to class today, and I did want to read more of that Hawking book Muto lent me. I'm sure he'll understand. This time, the noise jerks my attention away from my book. An experience not unlike being woken up. Who's there?
Me. Aren't you glad?
The voice is muffled through the door, but unmistakably Emmy's. I hop up and open the door, smiling broadly.
Hey, nice to see you again.
Emmy grins back, staring up at me from her wheelchair.
Yeah, you would have seen me earlier, but that damn elevator wasn't working. Had to wait for them to fix it. You'd think they could keep it in a better order, but no.
I chuckle a bit at her vexed expression and invite her in.
She wheels in easily, and with my help, she hops on my back. Oh man, I have to get ready for this shit again. There, much more comfortable than that stupid chair. A sign of contentment hangs in the air, and for a minute we both just stare at one another. It's at that point I notice the circle under Emmy's eyes. They're not that dark, but they definitely weren't there before. But before I can ask about them, Emmy fixes me with a mischievous stare. So, I couldn't help but notice you weren't at lunch today. In fact, I don't think I saw you at all. What happened?
Fell asleep. I actually didn't wake up until lunch, and only then because Kenji woke me up.
What had you so tired?
During his workout this morning.
Slightly uncomfortable too.
And because, half laughing, half embarrassed noise.
Remind me not to do that again. No problem. It wasn't exactly great for me either, to be honest. We'll just avoid that from now on. Are you, still sore?
Amy stares at me in disbelief.
What? It's a legitimate question. Of all the questions I never thought I'd be asked, that's one of them.
Well,
I didn't ever expect to have to ask it, so we're even. Amy laughs at this. I guess so, huh? Well, since you asked, yes. I'm still a little sore. We're never doing that again. No arguments from here. A yawn escapes her, and I raise an eyebrow. Tired?
Emmy nods sleepily.
Haven't slept well.
Not sleeping well. I can tell that she didn't mean to tell me this either, because she gives a little start like she's just been caught lying and hastens to add.
It's not a big deal though.
What's the trouble? Emmy shrugs and refuses to elaborate.
Stress over exams?
Another shrug, but after a pause, Emmy nods hesitantly.
Yeah, I guess. Actually, that's why I stopped by.
She begins to look more and more miserable. Not so you'd notice, of course, for her eyes are on her lap. She's fidgeting and her voice is quiet.
Well, we need to stop hanging out so much.
Huh?
Why?
Amy takes a deep breath, like she's been practicing this.
Because you're too much fun to be around. And I can't concentrate when you're near me. With exams coming up soon, I just can't have that distraction. Otherwise, my grades will be pretty lousy, I'm afraid.
I could help you study. She smiles at me, clearly unhappy with the situation.
I'd love it if you could, but we wouldn't actually study, would we?
By the way, I really think there's another reason why she doesn't get much sleep, and her whole relation with Hisao is helping her deal with the other problem. But you know, I don't know. I have this intuition thing going on that she's still covering up something. She's covering up something, and maybe the relationship is also kind of messing up with that a lot. I don't know. But let's continue.
I mean, even now, I'm trying to have a conversation with you. But I kind of just want to, not converse.
Overwhelmed by the rugged manliness, I understand. That earns me a grin, at least. Amy shakes her head.
Idiot, you're full of yourself.
Well, I am pretty irresistible.
More or less, I guess. So, that's the situation, Hisao. Had too much fun around you, and If I'm going to go into exams prepared, I need to be alone. Hey, that's okay. It really seems to have been bothering her. Besides, it's only a couple of weeks, and we'll still see each other in the mornings and at lunch. We can just hang out at school, no problem. And after exams, we'll go on a date to celebrate their being over, okay? Amy grins, pleased by this proposal. Yeah, sure. That sounds great. As if to sign, as if to signal the end of the conversation, she leans in and kisses me. The rest of the night is not spent worrying about exams. But I still have a bad feeling. I mean, the real reason why she's not getting sleep. It's weird how easily Emmy and I can keep from seeing one another after class now. Actually, I'd venture to say that it's vaguely disturbing. As easily as we'd come together, we seem to have split apart without much trouble. Well, I guess that's not entirely true. We both we've both been pretty bummed after the last night together. And we get to see each other every morning for our runs, and just our runs I might add. Lunch too. I especially enjoy lunchtime with her. We have plenty of time to talk about everything outside school, whereas the morning runs have become increasingly businesslike. I think it's because Emmy wants to make up for our foolery in the storage shed. But no matter how much we joke at lunch, I can't help feeling a little worried about her. She seemed distracted more often, and I caught her fidgeting nervously more than once. Never figured her to be someone who cared that deeply about exams, but they certainly seem to be taking their toll. Even though they haven't even started. So obviously something else is bothering her. Obviously. But he hasn't, hasn't really even, This is just the run up, the deep red before the plunge. Tomorrow, the real trials begin. Or the real exams, anyway. As for me, I actually don't feel that worried about exams at all. Not sure why. I mean, they're pretty important. My scores here will determine my odds into getting into a good university. Hell, if I'm too cavalier now, it could spell doom for my academic career. But going into them, I feel confident that I'll come out on the other side okay. Muto thinks I got the science examination locked up at any rate. Or, as he says, the last thing that should give you trouble is my exam, Hisao. It's way beneath your talents. Then again, it is Muto who's telling me this. His praises of me carries the veiled implication that anything less than perfect from me would be a disappointment, which has actually caused me to fret more than I should about the exam. And it's for that reason that I find myself in the library after class, poring over the textbook. Pretty simple things to look over. Some formulas of velocity, a few bits of friction. A walk in the park compared to my dreaded English exam. Never was good with languages. I think he kind of actually saw us that a little during Lily's round. A little, because I don't remember him being like super good at English, even though he went to a relationship with Lily. But in both routes, at least, he's still pretty good in science. That really is his deal. Anyway, let's continue. As I flip through my notes one more time, my mind begins to wander. After these exams are over, things should get easier. Soon we'll be graduated, then on to college, hopefully. I remember my abortive attempt to find out what Emmy's plans to do after high school. She avoided the subject pretty deftly, as I recall. Heck, it seems that just about every time I push too hard, she dances around the subject, or distracts me through other means. Yeah, I know it. So she's using. It's like he's a good way to help distract her from something. That's what it feels like. Like a few days ago at lunch, when Rin wasn't around. I've done it! I'm started from my revere by Yuko's triumphant shout. Ah!
Yuko seems mortified by sudden starting.
Oh my god. I'm so sorry. I just got. And I really wasn't. And it's just that.
As she stutters, I move to quickly calm her down before she gets too agitated.
Whoa, hey.
The words seem ineffective. Yuko continues to work herself into a complete frenzy.
And it's a library, and I shouldn't be.
Easy there, just
Calm down. And I'm setting a bad example. And now I'm getting fired because I can't do anything right. Yuko!
shouting seems to work, though I draw the ire of several other students studying in the library. Yuko snaps to attention like a soldier who just heard the captain bark an order.
Sorry. Calm down. It's okay.
You just startled me a little, and that's only because I was daydreaming instead of studying.
So really, you got me back on task.
That is a complete lie, but seems to work. Yuko takes a deep breath and seems to calm down a little, though she keeps shifting around with a nervous energy that seems awfully familiar.
So, what's got you so excited anyway? The Yamaku Cat burglar.
To her credit, Yuko manages to convey her intense excitement in a whisper.
I think I know who it is. I got an anonymous tip as to their identity. So I did some spying, and I think the tipster was right.
Oh, really? And who was this, burglar? Yuko shuts her mouth, shaking her head decisively.
No, I can't tell you that. Why not? It's between me and the burglar. I can't risk you warning him that I'm on this game. He could tip his hand early and blow town. Then I'm left with no perp.
When did Yuko start talking like a hard-boiled detective?
I wouldn't warn them. Why would I care? If you got to ask that question, then you don't need to know.
That doesn't make any sense, but okay. Congratulations, I guess.
Thanks. What for?
The cat burglar thing? Yuko nods and smiles appreciatively.
So, studying for exams? Well, that was the plan. And I'm not having much luck though. Really? Is it because you can't find a book? I'm really sorry. I've been meaning to clean the shelves up for weeks now, but I keep getting distracted. I'm so sorry. Whoa, wait. It's not that. I got my book right here.
To illustrate the point and hopefully calm Yuko down, I show her the textbook in front of me.
My mind just keeps wandering, is all. Is it because of the noise in here? I'm trying to be more strict about the noise levels, but I can't find myself to yell at people. I mean, aren't their lies hard enough without me throwing my authority around?
No, it's not the noise level either, I promise. I'm just...
Hell, I don't know.
Worried about Emmy? Worried about us? Worried about what happens after we graduate?
Emmy's been... kind of weird lately. What do you mean?
Well, you know how we're dating now.
I just don't know that we're actually, you know, a couple. Or at least I don't know that we're beyond friends.
Though friends normally don't do the sort of things we do. I don't know about that. I know some friends who do that with their friends.
Anyway. Physically, we're a couple. Coupling at least. It's like every time I try to find out more about her or about what she wants to do with her life, she dodges the question. Like the other day, I was talking to her at lunch about some schools I've been looking into, and I asked her, "Have you looked into any schools lately?" She shrugs in response, says no. When I ask why not, she says that she doesn't think that far ahead. I asked why she had that policy, and she suddenly realized what I'm about to start describing, and was wisely decided to clam up. She what? She changed the subject. Want to talk about it? Maybe it's an uncomfortable subject for her? Or she just doesn't think it needs explaining. Yeah, but it's not just that. Every time I try to find out what's been bothering her, she changes the subject too. It's like she likes being with me, but not getting close to me. Now that I've said it out loud, I feel worse. Yuko digests this bit of information. You know, it seems to me you're more serious about this than she is. I can almost feel my stomach twisting into a knot. She's right. That's exactly what it seems like. But is that really what's going on? I mean, sorry, I'm just talking nonsense. You shouldn't take my advice. You barely know me. I'm just a librarian, and I'm single, so you can imagine I can't know what I'm talking about. No, I think you have a point. As much as it hurts to even consider it, Yuko seems to try desperately to find a way to soften the blow somewhat. Look, I'm probably wrong, but you want to be sure how obviously wrong I am. Maybe you should just talk to her? Get some time alone and just ask about it? And don't let her change the subject either. Yeah, maybe I should do that. Before we continue, on a side note, today, the Four Leaf Studios fan art of the day before the launch of Katawa Shoujo and Steam is Yugo. Yesterday was Hanako. Anyway, let's continue. Or maybe I should just enjoy what I have. We have fun hanging out after all. And the runs are nice, and the other activities are nice, and talking to her is nice. Do I really need to get closer to her? What I got right now is pretty good. But that's silly. I want to get closer to her. I want to be able to help her out with whatever is bothering her. But maybe I should wait until after exams are over. Maybe she'll brighten up once the stress has passed. If she does, then I don't need to worry about it anymore. But if she doesn't, well, I'll cross that bridge when I come to it. I thank Yuko for her advice and back to my room. Maybe I'll be able to concentrate more on my studies in there. I leave the room after finishing my final exam and breathe a sigh of relief. As I'd hoped, the exams weren't so bad. I managed to breeze through just about everything but the English final. And even that was acceptable. I wonder how Emmy did. Even more so, how she's doing. She looked terrible at lunch today. I mean, she was pretty happy to be out of her wheelchair, but she was so exhausted. Something's been wearing her down. I'm starting to really doubt that it was just the exams. Should I confront her about this though? My music is interrupted by a tap on the shoulder. Hey, Sal. Got a minute? Let me save for this. I doubt this is one of those, I don't know if this is the type of choice that will actually affect me. I suppose I can spare a few minutes. I mean, I can always go back, but, you know, I feel like I have just a few minutes. Yeah, I've got some time. Nowhere important to be or anything like that. Mutha raises an eyebrow as I'm questioning my statement, then beckons me back into the classroom. I wanted to get some feedback from you, if I could. I know that this course wasn't quite to your level. Don't worry about it. The science club activities more than made up for it. Did they? Well, in fact, that's what I wanted to talk to you about. Do you think that was a worthwhile activity? Just for my reference? Well, yeah, it was a great way to go further than what we did in class. It was definitely worthwhile. Mito seems delighted by my response. That's great. Exactly the sort of thing I was hoping for. You know, Hisao, I'm glad you came here. It's always good to have a student who really gets into the subject you teach. In a way, It makes dealing with the rest of the students more tolerable. You're a bright kid too. You took to this stuff like a duck to the water, or some other such simile. Thanks. You were a great help, especially with that college stuff. There's one more thing, Hisao. A bit of advice from one scientist to another. What's that? What does the scientist do? Observe the world around him. Exactly. Good. A simple question, but one that most people can't seem to answer. That's the essence of a scientist, Hisao. We observe what's there and try to figure it out. What if there's something you can't figure it out? What's a scientist to do if he can't observe something?
This is really important for his problem.
How, for example, can we talk about quarks when nobody has ever seen one? Or black holes when observing them directly is impossible? Well, scientific equipment's pretty advanced.
I don't think it's scientific equipment because you gotta start out with the theory that something exists to explain something. Then you go do experiments and all that shit. But anyway, let's go back to this. Muto irritably waves away my response. No, that's not it at all. Those are tools. I'm trying to give you a philosophy. Think. If you can't observe something directly, then how can you observe it? Guess? How? How would you guess the movement of a quark? What is your guess based on? Of course, I should have thought of it earlier. The thing it affects. Muto clasps his hands together excitedly and whoops. Yes, exactly. Good. So in terms of Hisao's problems, well, we could see Emmy's being affected.
Remember that, Hisao. If you can't examine something directly, it's because you're looking at it wrong. You have to look at it differently if you want to uncover the truth. And if it eludes you, then look at what it leaves behind. That is the essence of being a scientist. We never stop looking for the answer. Never take anything for granted. Observe, experiment, and observe some more. There's a lot of stuff out there that makes no sense, Hisao. Your job is to get it to make sense. If nothing else, I hope you learn that here. I think I can remember that. Muto smiles, satisfied. Good. Now go enjoy your time off. You earned it. I leave the room feeling a little confused. What brought that on? Although, am I going about this thing with Emmy the wrong way? If she won't tell me, then can I go about it in some other way? The question keeps spinning in my head, even after I made my way back to my room. What if she gets angry about it? Besides, what if it's nothing? If I go in and refuse to leave until she tells me what's wrong or something, won't that come up as clingy? I don't want to start a fight or anything over something like this. Maybe I should just drop the matter and see how she is tomorrow before I do anything. Would it be so bad to just let it go? It's not like we don't enjoy each other's company, but odds as it sounds, I really want to help her. I don't even know what with or if there's anything at all she needs help for, but I want to know. Suddenly a knock on my door rouses me. I open it to see Kenji. Oh, it's you. It's me. That's it? If you had any idea what I've been through, what I've done, you'd be happier to see me, dude. I mean, that was some epic you may never see me again shit. And here you're just acting like I went down to the store for some milk. You're a cold man, Hisao. I really respect that. Thanks, I guess. It's smart to play it safe, you know. Don't show any emotion. Keep your cards close to your chest. Unless it's time to show your cards and you have bad cards. Then you should fold and collect your winnings. Do you understand? Yeah, that makes perfect sense. I take it the mission went well? Whoa, awfully nosy of you, isn't it? You can't just go saying things like that. things are at the delicate stage. One wrong move, and bam, the invasion succeeds. I thought you were going to blow the conspiracy wide open. It's bigger than I thought. I need to update my charts. It's probably changed some, and probably changed some of the puppets around. Wanna help? I got some whiskey from somewhere. You can fill me in. Everything your investigation has turned on. Better not. I'm supposed to meet her today. Gotta go do that. I can't raise suspicion. Kenji nods in approval. Still keeping it close to the chest, huh? Okay, man. I respect that. Good luck. Thanks. I'm just going to pretend, for the sake of my own sanity, that he's wishing me luck in talking to Emmy. And if I squint, that whole card analogy he was talking about works here. Time to lay it all on the table. Or see if I can get to Emmy to do so, rather. With a sense of something approaching purpose, I head for Emmy's room. I hop up the stairs leading to her room and knock on her door. Who's there? Huh? That's odd. Her voice sounds a little choked. Hey, it's me. Thought I'd stop by. Hisao? Come on in. I reach down to open the door, only to find that it's locked. More and more curious. Your door is locked. Oh yeah, sorry. Give me a minute. In a few minutes, Emmy opens the door, grinning. Sorry, I had to put my legs on. I was napping. Despite her grin, there's something definitely off. Emmy's eyes are slightly red. It looks like she's been crying. Hey, no problem. Are you okay? Huh? Yeah, I'm fine. It's just that you look like you've been crying. Oh yeah, Hisao, you're off to a great start on this one. What? Yeah, I'm fine. I'm just happy to see you. She punctuates this with a long kiss that continues as the door slams shut behind us. Oh man, I knew what she's doing. She's trying to distract herself with her. She's trying to distract herself from her problem by, with their relationship or some shit. You know, you know how that shit goes. I know what she wants to do now, and I'm also painfully aware how badly I want to do it too. But I break the kiss with a wrench of self-control that nearly kills me. I wish that was like that was like an option and not like he does it for you kind of thing. Yeah, I really wish that was an option. Wait, give me a second. Hey, wait. And his eyes crinkle in confusion. Huh? Wait for what? We need to talk. Isn't that supposed to be my line? And never a good thing to say? She's got a point. It's usually the lead-in to a breakup or a prelude to a fight. Maybe it can be a good thing this time. That's the hope anyway. Can we at least get onto the bed? It's my first day back on these things, and I'm still readjusting. Plus, the nurse said I should try to be on them less often, since running puts such a strain on them. Can't argue with that. It's a trap. We both know it, and we both don't care. I gotta be ready for the image in case my guy fails. Okay, the image is ready. Then again, it's awfully hard to get angry while in bed with the object of your affections, so maybe there's that motivation too. I set Emmy's legs by the bedside and sit down next to her, putting an arm around her shoulders. In silence, we just enjoy being able to be in this position again for a few minutes. Then of course, I need to ruin it by opening my mouth. Look, I know that you that you've been having kind of a rough time of it lately, and I want to help you out. I thought it was just the exams getting to you, but now I come into your room and you've been crying, and that kills me. But I can't do anything if you won't talk to me about it. I told you I'm fine. No, you aren't. It's obvious something's eating at you. You can tell me, you know. There's a slightest increase in tension in Emmy's voice. Why? Is my saying I'm fine not good enough? You're concerned, I get that. That's cool. But I'm fine. And it's nothing you need to worry about. Not sleeping and spacing out more than Rin doesn't strike me as being fine. I just want to help. Uh-huh. Yeah. I don't like seeing you like this. I want you to be happy, you know. I get the feeling that came out wrong. Because Emmy fixes me with an icy stare. So, you want to fix me, Hisao? She's definitely getting angry now. Want to swoop in your white charger and save the day? Stop the nightmares and the phantom pains? Restore what's lost? Her voice catches in her throat and tears start to flow. Well, you can't. Nobody can. Nobody will. I'm so stunned by her sudden verbal assault that I remain quiet. Neither of us say anything for a while. I'm sure that Emmy tightens her grip on me rather than pushing me away. After a deep breath, she starts talking again. Look, I'm sorry. There's these nightmares about the accident. The accident. I should have known. I took her legs after all, but it never comes up, of course. And I usually deal with them fine because I can run. Running clears my head like nothing else. I don't have to worry about anything while I'm running. I just concentrate on breathing, on the rhythm of things. It's easier that way. Life's easier that way. I just keep moving forwards, you know. Nothing else matters. Just getting around the next curve. And then it's the next curve. And the next. And the next. Until I can't go anymore. Or think anymore. And do anything but slow down and walk until I catch my breath again. After something like that, nothing else matters. But I've been stuck in this goddamn wheelchair for so long. So no outlet. Today, it just kind of boiled over a little. You could have talked to me about it, you know? You didn't have to go it alone. Emmy smiles sadly, like she's trying to explain to a child that all fire burns. Yeah, I did, and I do. But why? Why do you have to keep going through this alone? Why can't you just trust me enough to let me help you? That smile again. She leans in and kisses me on my cheek, an almost motherly gesture. She leaves her mouth close to my ear as she confesses this one thing to me. Because Hisao, I've already had everything I knew ripped away from me once. I don't know what I'll do if it happened again. She pauses, as if uncertain as to whether or not she should continue. I can feel a violent churning in my gut. She continues. So I can't rely on you, or the nurse, or anyone else. Just me. That's how it's got to be. Having delivered this short speech, she looks down and covers her mouth with the back of her hand. The conversation is clearly over. I search for something to say, but can't think of anything. Maybe I should go for now. I've got stuff. Amy doesn't even look up. She sounds tired or relieved, and can't tell which. Okay, Hisao. Go take care of that stuff. He shouldn't do that, but he did that. I'll see you tomorrow.
Oh, this guy. Well, come on, it's his first time in this. It's his first time in this shit, so he doesn't know what to do, and you know.
I get out the bed and head for the door, pausing at the doorway. Hey, Emmy? Yeah? 1,000 things I want to say. I'm too mixed to say any of them though. After her admitting she'll never let me close, I feel like my world's just been ripped out from me. What happened in that accident? I know she lost her legs, but that never seemed to bother her. What happened there? What scares a girl so badly that she won't accept help, even from someone she loves? I don't know, but I want to know. I want to know so badly that being denied that answer feels like a knife in my guts. Hisao, you were saying? I'm still standing in the doorway. Nothing. Never mind. And I'm closing the door, walking down the hallway, down the stairs, out the door, into the dark. Somehow, I wander back to my own room. My brains are doing a mile a minute, going nowhere fast. I can't figure out how to deal with this. I thought that moving forward was a good thing, dwelling less in the past that I can't change, living in the present and looking at the future. After this thing with Emmy, I'm not sure anymore. She was saying the truth. It's similar to look at the next curve and ignore the path gone by. No worry about the opponent left behind. No care for the spectators on the sidelines. And unfortunately, no time to watch out for lagging teammates either. I throw myself onto the bed, looking at one corner of my ceiling as if the answers I wanted were written there. No such luck, of course. She's literally running away from something. But have I not been doing the same thing? Trying my best to forget about my hospitalization? I'm getting better, but my health isn't going to magically fix itself. Emmy has 2 legs instead of a heart to deal with, but those aren't going to magically fix themselves either. Maybe this is just as fixed as both of us can get. The room becomes darker and darker until I can't really tell I'm looking at any corner anymore. The morning comes too soon, on the heels of a sleepless night. Is this how Emmy's been spending her nights? Staring at the wall or ceiling, trying to stop thinking about whatever it is? Her, in my case? That clenched feeling in my gut is still there. I can't rely on you. I heard spoken so casually, almost like she were teasing me or chastising me for suggesting that the word is flat. That's how it got to be. The way it's got to be sucks. I'm feeling so miserable that I very nearly decide to skip the run. That would be stupid though. It's not something I should do just to see her. Sure, that was the original reason, but it's something more now. I've started to enjoy the running itself. There are worse ways to get the blood pumping anyway. Never thought I'd say it after the first week or so, but I feel a lot better after a run. Like, no matter what else I do today, I've at least done that one thing. It wakens me up too, and Emmy herself said that running always clears her mind. Maybe it'll help clear mine. I hope so. Give me a second, I need to check something. Let's go back to this. The morning is clear. Cool and clear, if a bit humid. Summer is making itself known, it seems. Emmy's already stretching out when I arrive and greets me with a smile and wave. Hey, Hisao! The sight of her so chipper is like a kick in the nuts. How can she be so happy after yesterday? Bro, she just plans to run her worries away. Yeah, honestly, this kind of if I were younger, this busts my balls right now. But I give a half wave and am surprised to receive a hug. Hey, about last night. Here it comes. I wanted to say thanks. I actually managed to get some sleep for the first time in a while. And I think it's because of our talk. So, thanks. How could she sleep better after our chat? She basically told me she wouldn't get any closer to me. And that her slept well? Yeah, that I knew it. Oh man. Yeah, a part of me still is kind of incensed by hearing that, but Excuse me, but what the hell? Amy either doesn't notice my bafflement or chooses not to notice. No telling with her anymore. Oh, no problem. Glad it helped. The venom that threatens to drip into my voice is controlled for now, but I think I'd better start running now before I do anything stupid. Amy seems equally willing to get started, and before long we're darting around the track. I can tell she feels more relaxed. I have a feeling that maybe one of the reasons why her getting her thoughts off her chest is like her cleaning herself out of her own guilt about getting Hisao involved or some shit. But let's see. Anyway, her running has gone back to the more graceful movements I remember from when I first watched her. It's a stark contrast to the almost brutal way she's been hurling herself around the track these past few days. Our talk really does seem to help her. A pity it couldn't help me. I get into the rhythm of running, thinking back to when I couldn't afford thinking about anything else but keep my breathing steady and legs moving. Oh man, you're kind of adopting the Emmy move here. Guess those days are gone, at least for the first couple of laps. Annoyed at the lack of success I'm having with clearing my head, I increase the pace. Oh man, he might actually get himself to a heart attack. What he's doing here? He's gonna get himself to a heart attack. Ah, there's that burning sensation in my legs. The breathing comes ragged in my chest, the pounding on my heart, which I still need to be careful about. At least he's thinking about it. But it does seem to have gotten stronger. I can feel it pumping blood through my veins, the sound trumping in my ears, but instead of being panicked as I was that day in the snow, I am instead filled with elation. Yes, it's working. My heart, the fatal plot that landed me here, has improved. I'm able to keep going now, and maybe one day I'll be able to stop worrying as much. Oh man, this guy's gonna have a brutal awakening. I don't like this, man. Right now, it doesn't matter that I have no idea what to do about Amy and me. All that matters is that my arms and legs continue to pump in concert with one another. Nothing else. As I hit the final stretch, I remind myself that running really does help, though not as much as I'd hope. I do feel better, and as I walk a few laps to cool down, I begin to remember last night in a slightly less emotional manner. Amy wants me to stay distant from her. I can't bring myself to do so. There's got to be a way around this, some kind of middle ground I can reach. Not sure what that middle ground is, though. Damn, I was almost feeling optimistic. Nice run, Hisao. You really improved. Nice run. That's all I can hope for now, isn't it? Congratulations, Hisao. You're pathetic. I gotta change my attitude. Well, I am pretty awesome, and yet I just keep saying things that I don't mean. Any second now, I'll be as good as hiding my problems as Emmy is. Oh no, my MC is turning into an Emmy type of person. That's not the way it should go. I like to think so. Why does she do this to me? Say something like that with such real affection in her voice that it makes my heart leap. She doesn't mean it. She can't. I must be doing a worse job than I thought, because Emmy peers closely at me. Hey, you feeling okay? Maybe we should go. We should get to the nurse, huh? Yeah, I'd hate to kneel over on you. Emmy looks a little shocked at my bitter tone. Don't say things like that. You've already done it once before, you know. Why does she act so affectionate? She doesn't really care. I thought she made that clear. Okay, this guy, well, he doesn't get what's going on, but you know. But despite all of that, I find myself apologizing, even though I shouldn't have to. Even though she's probably just putting on an act. Although she's still kind of in the wrong here, and they do need to kind of talk. Anyway, let's continue. Sorry. Come on, let's see the nurse. I can't get myself to calm down the whole time. Every time it feels like I've gotten over what happened last night, Emmy does something or says something that shows affection, and I'm back to the beginning. The image of her ending that conversation still haunts me. It was like the final twist of the night that left me feeling bereft of any hope that Amy and I could be more than what we are. And what are we at this point? A little more than friends who happen to fuck? And really, it's not that I don't enjoy the time I spent with her. Said so the other day myself. I very nearly didn't even bring anything up with her. Was just gonna hop on in there and let it ride, wasn't I? With this running through my head, I find myself in front of the nurse's office, still brooding as he checks out Emmy. Emmy comes out bounding out the door, gives me a kiss and darts off to the shower, I assume. Meanwhile, the nurse beckons me into his office to give me a ritual once over. Any problems today? Yeah, I even pushed it a little harder today than I have in past, and I seem able to handle it. That's uncharacteristically risky coming from you, Hisao. You've been hanging out with Emmy too much. She's rubbed off on you, and not necessarily in a good way. At the mention of Emmy's name, I can't help but frown unhappily in spite of my efforts at control. Well now, this is new, don't you think? Last I checked, your usual response to Emmy's name was a grin, not a frown. What exactly happened between you two? Because Emmy doesn't seem to be on it, whatever it is. She looked more relaxed I've ever seen in weeks, which is unusual for this time of the year. What do you mean by that? By what? For this time of the year. I keep trying to find out what's bothering her, but she clams up as soon as I broach the subject. Then last night, she said, let me guess, she won't tell you, because she can't trust you. She says she can't trust you. And now you're crushed, because you thought that the two of you were so much more than she seems to think, right? More or less. How the heck did you know? Hisao, I'm the nurse. It's my job to know these things. I can't tell if it's like I have some experience in that sort of thing, or it's like I had Rin with her ear on the wall or some shit. That's kind of weird. Plus, I've known Emmy for long enough to know that she would try to do something like this. It's just like her. She says this in a half affectionate, half frustrated tone that would seem more appropriate if he had a cigar dangling from his lips, as if he seems willing to make do with a pen. Look, you mind if I give you some advice? All right, I'm gonna say, but the answer for me is sure, why not? What was it Muto said yesterday? If you can't observe the thing, then observe what's around it. Word a shot. The nurse knows Emmy better than I do, I'll wager. Sure. I'm open to suggestions. Honestly, I'm kind of lost. I got no idea how to deal with this. I never would have guessed. He grins while he says this. I think he's kidding. Look, here's the deal. Emmy is stubborn. You should know that by now. And if you don't, then you're pretty unobservant. But I'm giving you the benefit of the doubt here. I'm so grateful. Anyway, if she's decided that she doesn't want to talk about what happened, then she's not going to talk about what happened. Has she said anything about what's been bothering her? Even a hint? Well, she did say she's been having nightmares about the accident. Really? You're making progress then. That's good. Well, I guess I can fill you in without violating my strict non-interference policy when it comes to Emmy making stupid decisions. The anniversary of her accident is coming up soon. She gets depressed around this time because it was a pretty traumatic event considering what she lost. That's the other thing. She acted like she lost more than just her legs. What happened? Whoa, no, not going there. You'll have to ask someone else about that because that's a whole can of worms I'm not about to open. If Emmy wants you to know, she'll tell you in her own time. You just got to be patient. That's all. Why are you even helping me with all this? Because you're good for her. She trusts you, even if you don't think she does. And you got the best chance out of anyone at this school right now to help her through this time of year. She won't accept my help, but she might accept yours if you don't screw it up. So, don't screw it up. Got it? I opened my mouth to respond, but a knocking sound at my door interrupts me. Hey, you guys still in there? Just a moment, Emmy. Give us a second to get our pants back on. I fucking joke, man. Door burst. I'm surprised she took that. It's an obvious joke, but she really burst it. The door bursts open. I mean, where's nice? Asshole. Didn't mean to get your hopes up. Hey, can we leave me out of this? Anyway, what's up, Emmy? Forget something? I'm trying to take a more cheerful tone with her. No need to upset her. You can play the everything's fine game. Actually, I forgot to ask you something. Oh, what's that? Do you want to come with me on the trip to my house? My mom's making dinner, and I thought you might want to join us. Well, of course I accept. Emmy punches the nurse in the arm playfully. Not you, idiot. You were over last week. I was talking to Hisao. Oh, how interesting. Meeting the parent. I'd love to go, Emmy. Thanks. The nurse raises an eyebrow but says nothing. By the way, I really think the nurse is in a relationship with her mom or some shit. Considering she just offhandedly mentioned about him going to their house. I do have a weird feeling, and that's my guess. That the nurse is in a relationship with her mom or some shit. Wow, that might be true. Anyway. Great. I'll be in my room, swing by after you shower, and change into something clean, and we'll grab the bus. Sounds good. I'll see you in a bit. This time, it's me who leans in for a quick kiss before darting off to my room. What an interesting development. Maybe we're getting closer after all. Maybe Emmy's finally ready to open up a little. Or maybe she's just being polite. And a free meal seems like a good way to apologize for last night. Great. Now I can't decide whether to be excited, nervous, or depressed. I settle for a combination of all three and hop in the shower. I don't like riding on buses. Actually, I think I'm pretty comfortable saying that as a fact. They sway a lot, and they smell funny, and you can feel every bump in the road. Bro, this is supposedly in Japan.
What a liar. Buses in Japan is so smooth. It's a very smooth experience. Well, I don't know. Maybe because then they're in the Inaba or some shit. Whatever. Let's continue. I'm really not looking forward to this. Plus, Emmy's legs keep making a clanking noise that draws the attention of everyone else on the bus. She's in shorts again, and she's got long socks drawn up to her prosthetic so they look so obviously false again. But that doesn't stop the odd look or two every time her legs bump together with an audible clunk. I sit nervously in my seat, and Emmy raises an eyebrow questioningly. She doesn't seem to mind the stares, either that or she doesn't even notice that people are staring. I'm sure she's gotten her fill of odd looks before. After a certain amount of time, I doubt she'll notice anymore. Not that she'd ever tell me if I asked. Another fact is, I'm not just uncomfortable about the bus. I can't seem to come into terms with the fact that Emily appears to be trying to bring me closer while at the same time pushing me away. The nurse said she trusts me, even if it doesn't look like it. I already have my, I think I already said my opinion about this. She may say that shit. Yes, she might have said that shit last night, but in reality, you know, the nurse was right about saying he is really the closest shot that she got. You know, I think she'll, that's her voicing out her fear that, or her belief that that there really is no one. But you know, it's if Hisao really just like keeps at it patiently and all, she'll fall, you know, because she's a stubborn type, and you know, whatever. Anyway, let's continue. But I'm not sure I can trust the nurse. He's protective of Emmy, just like I'm protective of Emmy. And I'd be likely to say something to make her look good if someone asked about her. So you might just be doing that. Still, there was something about the way he seemed genuinely surprised that Emmy invited me along. Maybe last night's talk helped more than I think, but I'm still worried. Meeting the parents is a big deal, right? Not that I haven't already met Emmy's mother, but that was just as an acquaintance. Now, it's going to be Emmy's boyfriend, with everything that implies. I can feel my heart pounding in my chest. An echo of that snow-covered afternoon that feels like it was so long ago that it might as well be an entirely. Except then, I don't know what was going on. I also didn't have medication to help prevent things spiraling out of control. I've come a long way in terms of my physical health. For a second time today, I feel like I'll be able to live normally now, or at least as normally as possible. Now, if only I can manage my relationship as well as I manage my heart, I'll be in great shape. I'd be in great shape. Wow, it is my Japanese random ass street. Well, we're here. Amy grabs my hand as soon as we step off the bus. She starts heading down the street almost immediately. Come on, we got a couple of blocks until my place. What? Oh, okay. I follow Emmy down the street, watching her confident stride. She's setting kind of a quick pace for just a walk. I guess she's anxious to get there. So, does your mom do this sort of thing often? Nah, not too frequently. Well, there's never been much for playing hostess. Oh yeah? Yeah. My dad was always the one pushing her to have people over. This sudden, unprompted reference to her father catches me off guard. And from the look of Emmy's face, I'm not sure she meant to mention him. I think I've only heard her talk about him once. All I remember is that Emmy's mom told me that he wasn't around anymore. Oh, your mom prefers solitude? Emmy laughs, either from the relief that they didn't ask about her father, or from finding my statement actually funny. Not at all. She's why I'm such an outgoing person, you know. She just prefers to be a guest rather than a hostess. It's less stressful that way, or so she says. Clearly, she's never had to meet her girlfriend's mother for dinner. Emmy giggles again and speaks in a teasing tone. Nervous, Hisao?
You shouldn't be. You know, it's not that big a deal. Just dinner in my house, that's all. Yeah, but have you ever brought home a boyfriend before? I confess that part of me dreads hearing the answer to this. I know very little of Emmy's past relationships. I don't even know if there were past relationships. No, I guess I haven't. Hey, maybe this really is kind of a big deal after all. Oh, good. Now I feel twice as nervous. Though, to tell the truth, I'm pretty happy to hear that I'm the first one. Maybe we got something special after all. Bolstered by this new thought, I managed to calm down considerably by the time Emmy knocks on her front door. Hey, Mom! Open up! We're here! The door swings open, and Mrs. Ibarazaki stands grinning at her daughter. The grin is still surprisingly similar to Emmy's. I'm never going to get used to that. You know, people normally wait a few minutes before they start shouting at the door. And most mothers say hello to their daughters instead of scolding them right away. Ah, of course. Welcome home, dear. I miss you.
I can't do a different voice for both of them for some reason. Not that it matters anyway. I don't even know if it's being if it's being captured because of the noise canceling. The noise canceling kind of fucks up a lot of things. Anyway, let's continue. An affectionate hug later, we're inside, and it's only then that Emmy's mom seems to remember that I'm actually here. Bro, that's a messy house. That is a messy looking house. It doesn't even look like a Japanese house inside.
And hello to you too, Hisao. How are you? I'm quite well, thank you. Nice to not have to worry, not have worry. Oh, my brain's dying. Nice to not have school to worry about for a little bit. Ah, yes, you finished your exams.
Wait, what is this? Something really distracting for a bit.
Ah, yes, you finished up your exams, haven't you? That must be quite a relief for both of you. You both. It's certainly a weight off my mind, that's for sure. Mine too. I think I slept well for the first time in weeks last night from relief alone.
At this news, it's a surprise to Emmy's mother. She doesn't show it. Still, her response betrays a note of interest.
Is that so? I'm very glad to hear that, Emmy. You know, I get worried when you get all wound up about, well, exams.
Certainly Emmy's mother knows something I don't. Or rather, she doesn't know that Emmy's told me about the nightmares. It's interesting being able to observe how Mrs. Ibarazaki covers for Emmy. That protective instinct to make sure that I don't know any more than Emmy's willing to tell me. I suppose Emmy's got more in common with the Quarks than I ever realized. Moves around fast, impossible to understand through direct observation, yet she has an effect on everyone she encounters. I wonder if Mrs. Ibarazaki will figure out that I know about the nightmares, or is she just keeping everything secret from everybody?
Yeah, it's not as bad as this year as in the past. His Sal helped me to stay focused.
Okay,
I know that's not true. She even cut off contact outside school hours, just contact school hours during exam week. But she did see me during the day, and she told me more than once that morning run was the only thing that she looked forward to during exams. So maybe it's not that much of a lie. Either way, to hear that being around has helped even a little makes me feel a bit better. Emmy's mother raises an eyebrow at the statement. Either she doesn't believe Emmy, or she's as surprised as I am. Well, then it appears that it's a good thing that you two have become so close. I'd tell you to take care of my daughter, Hisao, but it looks like you're already doing that. Emmy grins at this and seems to take pride in my having managed to integrate myself with her mother so easily. Actually, I'd say your daughter's been the one taking care of me. She's gotten me out and running. I've probably been more active since meeting her than I ever was, even before. I'd actually never thought of it that much, nor had I ever appreciated the humor in it. I wasn't too active before the heart attack. Pickup games of soccer don't really count since they weren't that common. So now that I know for sure that I have a weak heart, now I run every day, pushing my luck with the help of my medication. I chuckled quietly, then realized I had never finished my sentence. Well, before I had my heart attack and wound up at school here, it comes out so casually. There was a time I would have thought twice about talking about what was wrong with me at all. And now it just seems silly to care, especially in the company of Emmy and her mother. If Emmy can be cavalier about her disability, then so can I. I think back to the track meet, where Emmy declared herself the fastest thing with no legs. Fastest thing on no legs. The fact of her obvious loss has never seemed to bother her, at least not in public. But being stuck in the wheelchair frustrated her, I know. But even that was something she dealt with on her own, despite my efforts to the contrary. Emmy has a way of bringing out the more active side in people. I never quite figured out how she does it. Those puppy dog eyes she gets for starters. I'm not surprised she managed to rope you into an exercise routine. If Rin weren't just as stubborn as she is, I'm sure that Emmy would have gotten her out and running with you too. Oh, that reminds me. Rin says hello. I drove to the outer edges of the conversation again as we moved into the dining room to eat. It smells delicious in here, and the spread that Emmy's mom has produced is impressive. Whoa, you made enough to eat an Ari in here. Is it too much? Well, you can take some leftovers with you when you go. That sounds great. I can only handle cafeteria food for so long. Something home cooked would be a welcome change of pace. What he said. Thanks, Mom. The food tastes as good as it smells, and there's a lull in the conversation while we all dig in. Emmy assaults her plate with the usual amount of gusto, and I will admit that I set a pretty fast pace myself. So, Hisao, I hear that you and my daughter have gotten rather close, The urge to say something like, not really, is so strong that I open my mouth to say it, but then reassert control. We're close. There's no getting around it. I mean, Emmy's brought me here, hasn't she? Fortunately, both Emmy and her mother seem to take my reaction as a sign I'm caught off guard, rather than considering saying something cruel. I suppose we have. I blame the morning runs myself. You make it sound like a bad thing, Hisao. Well, I for one found it a relief. Why is that? Emmy's always been a popular girl, but never made many close friends. This is a bit of news to me. I've always seen Emmy chatting with her classmates in the hallways, and certainly the whole track team seems to love her. But it is true she chooses to isolate herself during lunch with Rin and me. Not exactly the sort of behavior one expects from a popular girl, after all. Then again, I've experienced her unwillingness to get close firsthand, so I can't say I'm that surprised. I was beginning to have my doubts. Amy rolls her eyes to the ceiling and grumbles something I can't quite make out. Huh? What? What's that you just said? Nothing. Miss Ibarazaki chokes on her drink with laughter. You've been hanging out with the nurse too long, Amy. I'm going to have to talk to him about corrupting my daughter. Somehow, I don't think that would be very effective. I learned it most of it from you anyway, not the nurse. Don't listen to her. Hisao, she's a born liar. Yeah, right. Oh? I don't know, Amy. I think your mom has a point. What? You traitor! You're supposed to take my side in this. Yeah, but you did lie. Ow! About your... Ow! I kicked in the shins, from an unmistakably plastic foot, cuts me off, not before Miss Ibarazaki's eyebrows shoot upwards. Yeah, I based that on the action rather than the text. What about your leg? It wasn't a big deal. That's all. I was just in a wheelchair for a bit. A little few mumbled words are quickly deciphered by Emmy's mother. I suspect she has experience with this sort of thing, and a worried frown appears on her face. So that's why he kept dodging my calls. Oh, Amy, I know how much you hate being in a wheelchair. No wonder you've been in such a mood lately. Yeah, she's much happier on her feet, so to speak. Well, of course. She spent enough time in the chair just after the accident. She didn't get prosthetics immediately. No, she had to finish healing up before they let her start the sort of therapy you got to go through to adjust to those things. Especially since she wanted to run them. I had no idea. Yeah, it sucked. Oh, did you see Rin's mural at the festival? Emmy's sudden change of topic makes me realize belatedly that she's been fidgeting the whole time her mother and I have been talking. I should have figured on her being a little skittish when it comes to talking about the accident, even around her mother. No, I didn't make it out to the festival, remember? Although, I caught a glimpse of it at your track meet. It seemed pretty weird to me. I think that's more or less what she was going for. She talked about it being dreamlike, or trying to make it dreamlike. Rin's art is one of those things I don't think I'll ever understand. It's not surprising. I don't think Rin expects to be understood. She told me once that art allows people to understand stuff they won't understand otherwise. But all the same, she doesn't think it actually works that way. I'm surprised that Amy's talking about this with Rin extensively enough to actually have Rin's opinion as it is. Although, I expect that Rin could not, if she were so inclined, say the same thing about Emmy's. Unless, of course, Emmy is purposely keeping me in the dark about everything, which is likely, but unpleasant to think about. I drift down this unpleasant train of thought for a while, losing track of the conversation. Hey, Emmy, I've been meaning to ask. Huh? Are you going to visit your father this year? From the way she says it, you'd think Emmy's mother was talking about the weather. From the way Emmy reacts, it's clearly not the weather they're talking about. She flinches, a slight jerk of the head backwards, as if she's been just slapped in the face. Can we talk about this later? Her voice sounds brittle, strained. It sounds as if she's been severely shaken by the question. It seems that Miss Ibarazaki misjudged us how close Emmy and I are. Some things, it seems, are best not conversed about with me around. Her father is one of those things. The accident that took her legs is probably another one of those things. If her reaction to the earlier conversation between her mother and myself is any indication, it doesn't take Emmy's mother long to realize she's screwed up. Of course we can, dear. I'm slow to bring it up. I'm sorry to bring it up. I just wanted to ask so I could make plans. It's fine. Don't worry about it. Emmy fidgets nervously, as if embarrassed by my own reaction. I confess that her reaction is confusing. She only just mentioned her father to me earlier today, less than a few hours ago even. Why does a simple question about when she'll visit her father cause such a strong reaction? Unless whatever serenity she claimed to have reached by means of our talk the previous evening had suddenly evaporated. Or it didn't help as much as she thought or claimed. I'll be right back. I'm gonna visit the little girl's room. Emi gets up suddenly and leaves the table, leaving me and Mrs. Ibarazaki alone. I'm a little conflicted. Should I go after her? Or should I stay here? It's obvious that Emi's departure was not based on the call of nature. Something's bothering her, and I have to know what it is. How to go about it? I'm gonna talk to her mom. Do you know why? Wow. Do you know how many times they repeated about the quarks and stuff? That's literally the game telling me to observe the things that observe the things around her. I think going to talk to her wouldn't even help. So I'm better off probably talking to her mom at this point. So I'll talk to her mom. There's an awkward silence at the table for a while after Emmy dashes off. I can't think of anything to say. Emmy's mother sighs, breaking the silence. Sorry about that, Hisao. I sometimes forget that Amy's touchy about certain subjects. And I was talking about the wheelchair thing too. Should I go after her? Heavens, no. She didn't leave she didn't leave the table to continue the conversation, you know. I might be doing this right. But if she's troubled, shouldn't someone help her? If it were anyone else, I'd say yes. But my daughter is stubborn as a mule. And if she wants to be alone, it's best to let her be alone. Yeah, my instinct works. Let's see if my instinct keeps working on here. Otherwise, she'll probably say something she'll regret, which would cause you to say something you'd regret. And I would prefer that dinner doesn't end with one or both of you storming out of the house. If that were to happen, I'd be a terrible hostess, wouldn't I? I've already acted as a fool once today. That's okay. I shouldn't have brought out the wheelchair, apparently. Miss Ibarazaki frowns, clearly more bothered by Emmy's omission that she let on. I wish she wouldn't do that. It just makes me worry more, you know. She does this often? What? Running onto the bathroom? No, I can't say she does. Keep injuries from her mother? No? Well, that's a little more common. Every time I catch her lying like that, she assures me that the only reason she didn't tell me is because it wasn't a big deal. If it's any consolation, I'm sure that's the only reason I knew about it at all, because I saw her every day. It elicits a dry chuckle from across the table. Miss Ibarazaki sighs a little sadly. Still hesitant about getting close to people, huh? I keep hoping that she'll get over that. It's funny, really. She bounced back so well from the accident in so many ways. I guess some things never really go away. From the looks of it, the whole thing still bothers her too. She seems to be a little more willing to talk about the accident without any around, though. Hey, I've got a question, if it's alright. Oh? What else did Emmy lose in that accident? The nurse says that she gets this way near the anniversary, and she won't talk about it to me. So, you thought I'd fill you in, yeah, hopefully. Well, there's a problem with that request, you know. Let me guess. You promised Emmy that you wouldn't tell anyone that she didn't want to know, and you don't know if she wants me to know. Something like that. I promised Emmy that she'll be the one to tell people the full story. But isn't that important? I mean, it clearly had a huge effect on her, but she's still like this so long after the accident happened. That's true. It did have a long-lasting effect on her. There are a few things that she'll probably never really get over. For a moment, Miss Ibarazaki looks incredibly saddened, as if an old wound is bothering her. I suppose there are a few things I'll never really get over either. Another dry chuckle, and with a shake of her head, Emmy's mother banishes the memory. Look, there's something you absolutely must understand about that. the way Emmy thinks about the accident. What's that? It wasn't a big deal. Somehow I managed to keep my mouth from falling open in surprise. But it takes some effort. That has to be the most ridiculous thing I ever heard. I beg your pardon? Okay, maybe it's not that simple. It's but it's a pretty accurate summation. Emmy believes that the accident did not define her, and that everything she lost that day didn't define her either. She's not the girl who lost her legs. She's the fastest thing on no legs. Her optimism and energy came out of that wreck without a scratch, as far as she's concerned. Yet it goes beyond that, doesn't it? I mean, last night, she told me she refused to rely on me because it would make losing me too painful. Not really. She said she won't tell you about the accident, even though even though you asked her about it before. The reason she won't talk about it when you ask is because, to her, it's not something you absolutely need to know, even if she wasn't terrified of getting too close to anyone. She still wouldn't talk about it. She's afraid of being close to me.
I knew it. Wait, my intuition's kind of close to her issue.
Oh goodness, yes. For all that talk about being unscathed by the accident, she's gained the ugly knowledge of how quickly it can be all be over. So she's not going to let people get especially close to her, and she certainly would resent any implication that she cannot work through this on her own. But I don't think she can. Oh no? Are you sure you've been dating my daughter and not somebody else? Trust me, Hisao. She could get through it on her own. But she has nightmares. You can't sleep well. And she does this every year. Tell me, if she wasn't able to get through it on her own, do you really think she'll still be alive? She would have killed herself. Or something equally melodramatic. So what? I shouldn't try to help her? I didn't say that. I hate seeing my daughter like this. And knowing that she could rely on someone else would help me relax. You just need to understand that accepting help goes against everything Amy thinks about herself and the way the world works. If you still want to offer her help, then I guess that's your call. I honestly like you too, but it'll be silly not to warn you that it's not going to be easy. You just need to be patient with her. She's already closer to you than anyone else she ever met in Yamaku. Well, it sure doesn't feel like we're very close.
God damn it, we were having a good talk and she appears. Holy shit.
Good. That makes this part easier. Emmy's voice nearly gives me a heart attack. Whoa! Didn't hear you come back, Emmy. How convenient. Wait, were you eavesdropping? Nope. Just happened to come back at the right moment, I guess. Oh, me. Hisao was just... Emmy holds up a finger, cutting her mother off. On his way out of the house? Yeah, I know. Emmy's trembling with anger now, looking vaguely betrayed. Emmy, don't be ridiculous. We were just... You promise! The pain carried in that last word is almost too much for me to bear. The idea I could hurt her that much is like being kicked in the gut. You mean kicked in the balls? That hurt? Because being kicked in the gut is totally nothing compared to being good. Never mind. Emmy's mother looks similarly pained by the thought. And I kept that promise. Just listen. There's no reason to go throwing people out of the house. Emmy's mother seemed to be both angry at her daughter's outburst, and embarrassed that I'm a witness to it. There's only one real solution to this problem, I think. It's okay. I'll go. Now, really, that seems a little unnecessary. Don't worry about it. Thank you for the dinner, Miss Ibarazaki, and for the advice. It was my pleasure, Hizao. I'm sorry we didn't get to the dessert. That's okay. I had to watch what I eat anyway. Good evening, Emi. Miss Ibarazaki. The formality of our conversation, coupled with the fact that I'm getting ready to leave, seems to snap Emi out of her anger. No, wait, I'm sorry. I meant so. And after last night, I just thought, you don't have to go. I take it back. It's okay. I can't help but smile slightly, but she can barely articulate her apology. And I really would like to stay, but I don't think I can right now. I need to think about what her mother said, and about what I'm going to do about us. I don't want to risk accidentally getting Amy angry again in her current state either. No. I think I'd better leave. You seem pretty shook up, and, well, I'd only wind up trying to help you again. I knew you prefer I didn't, so I'm going to leave instead. But, hey, it's not a problem. You don't want a night on the White Charger, right? Just promise me one thing, okay? What? Don't be angry at your mother, okay? She was just giving me some advice. That's all. Amy nods, hesitantly, like the simple idea is all that she can grab onto at this point. She's so terribly off balance, but I can't do anything about that right now. Okay. See you tomorrow, okay? Running in the morning? Don't forget. I can see that I've hurt Emmy by deciding to leave, but there's nothing I can do for her as things stand. And I know that she's too stubborn to admit that she wants me to stick around. I'll watch various emotions across Emmy's face as she tries to process everything that just happened. Well, if Emmy really, really wanted Hisao to stay, she would do a lot more things than just standing there and accept that. Shortly comes that calm look again, like last night, and the voice that tries so hard to sound careless. Sure, Hisao. See you around. Both of us unwilling to concede emotion at this point, and then having a hard time keeping up my facade. So I turn on my heel and walk out the door. She did the worst thing. She acted like nothing happened. God damn it. I shut it behind me slowly, pausing for a moment as the latch catches, my hand on the doorknob. Did I make the right decision just now? Should I have stayed and tried to work things out? No. I decide. Not in front of her mother like that. In spite of everything, I'd rather keep Emmy's mother insulated from the sort of anger that surfaced last night. Even though she's probably used to it, some protective instinct wants me to keep Emmy's image as a cheerful girl intact. With a start, I realize my hand is still resting on the knob. I take my hand away, put it in my pocket, and head down the slowly darkening street. I'll be right back.
Let's continue. I probably have only like 30, 30, 43, 33 minutes. All right, let's do this. I'll let out a long breath. The wait till tomorrow morning comes isn't going to be easy. In any case, I hadn't think on what to say to Emmy. I must apologize. I must get through to her somehow. On that account, something has been on my mind for most of the way back to my room. The letter of apology from Iwanako. I was so concerned about my new life when I received it that I didn't even bother to really read it. Now that I find myself in a similar position, my curiosity got rekindled. What did she want to let me know so badly? And nothing else. Reading her thoughts might help me frame mine. I remember tossing it away. Damn, where did I throw that thing? I check under my desk. That turns up nothing. So I look for harder to reach, more unlikely locations. Well, now I know where that lost sock went, at least. Still no letter though. It's when I try sweeping my arm under my nightstand, I feel something crinkly jammed between it and the wall. Grunting a little with the effort, I reach for my prize and soon manage to bring it into the light. Bingo. I sit at my desk and spread the crumpled paper open. A flicker turns on the table light. It doesn't look crumpled. I'm actually curious if it actually is written in actual Japanese or nothing. I mean, it kind of looks Japanese, but I don't know enough Japanese to know if it's actually legit. But anyway. Skipping past the empty pleasantries, I look for the point where I stop reading. Ah, here it is. There are other things I want to say. I'm writing to you because I felt that there are things I should have said after the incident back in winter. I really regret that I wasn't able to say them in person, and I have no excuse for it. The truth is, the times when I visited you at the hospital made me worry about you. I'm not talking about your health. You seem to become more distant and disheartened. It was natural after something like that happened, I'm sure. But somehow, I got the feeling that you have given up on something back then. Happiness, maybe? By the way, in Lily's route, I don't recall this, so I'm guessing... I think in Lily's route, he didn't bother finishing the letter, or he didn't really care too much about it. That we got to this part. Let's continue. Giving up on happiness. This sounds unpleasantly familiar. I wanted to somehow express my feelings, but the right words didn't come to me. I couldn't say anything to comfort you. I am really sorry for not being able to support you when it mattered the most. Even though I like you so much, at least now, finally, I can be more honest. If I could go back to those quiet days in February and March, I'd tell you to not give up on yourself. That's what I would say. Maybe you wouldn't have drifted so far away if I had just said something. I hope you managed to get back on your feet on your own. Now that distance between us is also physical, I also feel more final. It also feels more final, somehow. I wonder if we will meet again. Perhaps it's the best if we don't. Oh, okay. Okay, this part is in Lily's route.
Still, if you would like to correspond with me, by all means write me back. I'm very much like to hear about your new school, how you are doing. I wish you all the best. Sincerely, Iwanako. Okay, this part I do remember in Lily's route. I don't remember the thing in between about her regrets. Maybe it was mentioned, but I didn't pick up on that. But in Lily's route's interpretation, it was her. They interpreted the letter as a way for Estelle to move on. You know, I wonder how they'll interpret the letter in this round. After finishing reading the letter, I smoothed it out carefully and set it aside on my desk. Thank you, Iwanako. I wanted to say yes to your question on that snowy winter day, but I never got to. By the time we meet again, it was too late. Or so I thought. What would have happened if I had behaved differently? Back in that dismally sterile hospital room. I'm so sorry. I'm sorry. There's no point in wondering now, but there's no point in trying to forget either. I am who I am because of all that happened to me and all I look forward to experience. Present, future, and past. And the past may have just taught me an important lesson now. All right. Holy shit. Let me save. I hope I got the good ending. I have a feeling I did. But, you can't always rely on feeling. Anyways, continue. I still have 30-ish minutes. Yeah, I still have a couple, 26 minutes to go before I call it in. The sound of my alarm is an unwelcome intrusion on sleep that's been a battle to obtain. I doubt I've been truly asleep for more than an hour or so. Too much on my mind. Did I make the right choice leaving the house yesterday? Did I manage to get Emmy to realize how unreasonable she's been? Am I ever going to manage to get her to stop being unreasonable? Emmy's mom gave me a new perspective the other day, but I'm not sure that it's the right perspective. She was hurt when I left yesterday too. I know that part of any conversation is going to have to include an apology about that. Right thing to do or not, I hurt her. I hurried down to the track, eager to talk to Emmy. I think I know what to say. Apologize for leaving first, then go ahead from there. Bro, you already had any sleep and you're gonna run? I was gonna die. Holy shit. It's not gonna be a happy experience, man. I tried running with less than less than fucking 4 hours of sleep. That was a bad idea. But anyway, let's continue. Unless, of course, Amy doesn't show up, which from the looks of things seems like it's the case. It's been about 15 minutes since I got here. There's no sign of her. She's never late. Not unless she's sick, which is unlikely. She probably just doesn't want to see me right now. To take my mind off what that implies, I begin my warm-up routine and take off around the track. It clears my mind wonderfully. For the half hour I'm running, I don't think about anything but the run. However, once I finish, and Amy still hasn't shown up, I get a little worried. With any luck, the nurse will know where she is, if nothing else. I can see what he thinks I should do next. So, last night didn't go too well, I take it. Huh? You already know? I have my ways. And it's not as if I'd missed the distinct absence of your running partner this morning, now would I? No, I suppose not. So, what happened? Don't you know already? Maybe, but I could be bluffing. Perhaps I'd prefer to get your side of the story before I give my any advice. I quickly filled the nurse in on the events of last night, and he takes it all without any changing expression once. Nothing about the whole event seems to surprise him, although he does seem surprised when I say that I didn't follow any. Chose to talk to her mom instead. Smart move, though I guess it didn't work out too well for you in the end. Well, I'm not sure. Amy seemed apologetic when I left. Or at least, she seemed that way until she put up her defenses again. The nurse sighed and pressed his hand in a conciliatory gesture. Frankly, I'm surprised she let them down at all. Amy's had a lot of practice in that score. You probably won't get anything else out of her. I don't believe you. Is that so? You think she'll tell you the whole tale? I swear, I just saw the nurse's eyes glinter a little. His expression is the same, but he leans forward ever so slightly. I think she'll open up to ask her without being an idiot about it, yeah. The nurse gives his enigmatic smile in response and shrugs slightly. I think he's enjoying his role a little too much. That's the real trick, isn't it? Are you sure you know the right way to approach the subject? I can guarantee that Amy's going to try her hardest to pretend last night didn't happen. It will be painfully awkward for the both of you, but it will also be a lot safer than trying to ask her the whole story again. It could go worse this time. Are you ready for something like that? It sounds like a challenge. Like he doesn't believe for a minute that I'll be so bold. I actually feel a little insulted by his lack of confidence in me. Of course. I'm ready for that. I love her. My outburst gets a raised eyebrow in response. Well then, good luck. Let me know how it all turns out. Although he delivers his parting shot with the same smirk as usual, I actually think the nurse wants me to succeed. I resist the urge to charge directly to Emmy's room to prove the nurse wrong. I've gone in half-cocked before, and the results were less than stellar. If I'm going to do this, I need to figure out exactly what I'm going to say and how I'm going to say it. Something to think about in class. Sure enough, by the time lunch rolls around, I think I have a good enough idea of what to say. I can do this. The bell rings and I grab my lunch and dash up the stairs, eager to be there first. I'll need to ask Rin to leave and I'll need to... Hi, Hisao. Sorry, I wasn't able to run with you this morning. I overslept. Somehow, both Emmy and Rin have managed to get into the route before me. Oh, that's no problem. Last night was kind of draining, I guess. Amy's expression doesn't alter in the slightest. Yeah, sorry about that. But I've had such a weird morning since then. Oh? Huh? Really? Amy proceeds to make small talk for the rest of the time. I can barely get a word in edgewise, and soon find myself interjecting the sort of back and forth dialogue that seems to have defined our early relationship. I'm not going to get anywhere on this problem during lunch, obviously. I can respect that. Amy obviously doesn't want to accidentally pull Rin into things, and that's fine. Not that I think Rin would notice, but I can at least respect that sort of rationale. I tried a different tactic. Hey, Emmy, what are you up to after class today? I was thinking we could go out somewhere for dinner or something. Emmy looks genuinely remorseful. Oh man, she's on guard. Sorry, Hisao. I promised the track captain that I'll stick around after practice and help some of the other kids with their form. It'll have to be some other time. Yeah, sure. I'm honestly not sure what to do now. Maybe diving into things the day after would be a bad idea anyway. She might still be angry about it and just not showing it. Besides, She's got track team responsibilities. That's fine, right? I tell myself some variation on this theme the next day. Then the next. I wake up, run with Emmy, during which she refused to talk about anything but the run and what she was doing the night before. Then lunch, where we sit and make small talk until the bell rings. Her new responsibilities effectively keep me from seeing her outside of the school. Maybe, just maybe, I'm letting it happen because it's safer this way, just like the nurse said. Except, while it may be safer, I'm feeling more and more wretched. Amy doesn't look good when I see her anymore. Dark circles lurk around under her eyes. She seems more and more distracted, and I can't bring myself to just ask what's wrong, because the timing never seems right. I'm absolutely miserable. Another lunch comes. I trudge up the stairs to the ruta like a damn man. Ren is up there, but Emmy's not. Immediately, I worry that something's happened to her. Maybe the lack of sleep finally made her collapse or something worse. She seemed pretty tired after our morning run. Maybe she fell asleep and didn't even make it to class. Hey, Ren, where is Emmy? In response, I get a rather penetrating look from Rin, and something approaching a frown appears on her face. Is that information really important? I think so. She's usually here with you, isn't she? I don't know. I have no way of being sure. I confirm that she is. In fact, usually here with you when I come up. Well, she isn't now. Does that worry you? Kind of. Hmm. That seems to end the conversation, and the point becomes smooth anyway because Emmy bounced through the door with her usual energy. Hisao is kind of worried about you, Emmy. I don't think he can decide. Or maybe I just don't believe him. But I think I'm going to go somewhere less awkward now. Oh shit. Rin does it for us, man. I like how Rin goes. Rin is like, you know what? These two, they're not moving along, so I'm gonna bounce. I'm so surprised by Rin's being so suddenly forward about, well, anything at all that I merely watch her head through the door. Emmy is similarly surprised and colors slightly crimson as she stares open-mouthedly at me. It occurs to me that I should probably say something, if only to break the awkward silence that has suddenly descended. It's because you weren't here yet. I was, worried about it. Why? You're usually here. So I was worried that something had happened to you. This isn't the first time that I've been late, you know. Did you get worried all the other times too? Not really. Amy seems slightly amused by this. I don't know why, but that kind of pisses me off. So, why was this time an exception? Maybe it's the light, teasing tone of the question, but something in her response pushes me to be honest. Though I can't help snapping at her when she says it, when I say it. Because you've been worrying me since dinner at your house, that's why. Well, now it's open. Now it's out in the open, and Amy's eyes are wide, and she looks like she wants to bolt, but she doesn't. Still on that, I see. What? You think I'm supposed to just forget about it? You threw me out of your house. We've been going out for almost a week pretending it never happened. I didn't see you bringing it up either, you know. I know. And I'm sorry that was the case. We had to address it. Or we'll just keep up this whatever it is we got right now. It's killing me to look at you. Killing me to look at how you look right now. Did you know that? Those circles under your eyes and that distracted look in them. And I can't help worrying that I've caused it somehow. You haven't. Trust me. Well, I haven't either. Haven't helped either. I keep pushing you to tell me things you aren't ready to tell me. Maybe it was wrong to try getting your mother to help me out. But I've been so worried about you that I didn't know what else to do. Well, you don't have to worry about me anymore, okay? I think it's pretty clear we're not right for each other. Or, so maybe we should just stop. Her face is twisted up as she says this. Like, she doesn't want to say it, but forces herself anyway. You don't actually want that, do you? Heck, you can barely bring yourself to say it. Anyway, it won't keep me from worrying about you. I care too much about you to just stop on command. You don't want to tell me what's wrong? That's fine. But I won't stop trying to help you, even if it's just standing by you. Stop saying that! She's shaking now. And as she looks at me, I can see she's afraid and frustrated and a million different things all at once. I shake my head slowly and take a few steps toward her. You know what your mom told me? She told me that you'd never ask for help. Because, you're strong enough to get through anything on your own. But that's not the full story, is it? Her eyes go wide, and she takes a step back. I keep going, because I think I finally figured it out. Something tells me I won't get another shot. I put it out for far too long as it is. There's no harm in having someone help you, unless you're worried about needing help in the first place. You're scared, aren't you? Because of... I trail off. Because I don't know for certain what happened to Emmy's father. And I don't want to jump to a conclusion. Well, never mind why. But it's okay to be afraid. You've been running from it, and from me, for so long. Even though you know eventually you have to turn around and face your fear. And I'm going to be there to help you when you do. I won't stop, because I don't think you want me to. You can understand that sort of determination, can you? I can see that I've gotten through to her, but she quickly falls back to anchor to try and push me away again. Back on your white charger, Hisao. Gotta help the poor cripple face her emotional problems. What do you know about me? And about what I've already had to face? You'd think 2 months of learning to walk again was fun? But I did it. And after I did that, I had to... For a moment, it seems as if she's going to say something else. But she cuts herself off. And after all that, you don't think you can get past your fear? Emmy, I can't fathom what you've been through, but to come through it and still be the sort of girl that you are, well, it makes me think that you have even more strength than you think. So I'm not going to help you because I think you need rescuing. I don't want to be a knight rescuing the damsel in distress, but even knights help each other out, you know? I want to help you, even though I know you can do it on your own. For a moment, it looks like Emmy's going to break down completely, but she doesn't. Tears run down her face, but she stares at me steadily. Why are you trying so hard to help me? I'd say that it's because I owe you one for helping me out when we first met. But that wouldn't be the truth. The truth is, I just want you to be happy. Because I love you. Had I ever said that before? We've been in a relationship. And it's been pretty obvious that I love her. But Did I ever actually speak the words? What did you say? I say it again, savoring the feeling of being able to say it all. Being able to say it and mean it. Emmy seems stunned. I said I love you, Emmy. I love you. Just you. And that makes me want to stand by you. No matter what you had to face. I'm wrapped in a fierce hug then, as Emmy begins to sob against my chest. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry about everything. But I'm so scared, Hisao. I'm so scared of losing you, and I love you too. But I can't lose you. I just... I'm so sorry. I hold her quietly, flushing her until she settles down. She steps back a little more composed. Will you come with me tomorrow? Back to my house? There are some things I need to show you. If I'm going to do this. Of course. Maybe this time, we can leave together instead of separately. Amy grins, a sudden flash of brightness that seems more genuine than anything I've ever seen in the past week. More genuine. Oh, sorry. I can't help saying that. When I see the word genuine, I got mind broken by Origairu, man. I got really mind broken by Origairu. Anyway, let's continue. Yeah, maybe. The lunch bell rings, and I curse the universe's poor sense of timing. Are you free tonight? We can talk more then, right? Amy shakes her head. Sorry, Hisao. But I'm still helping the track team. Plus, I don't think it would be good if we talked this over tonight. I'm going to be too tired to think properly. I want to be able to tell you everything without screwing it up. You can wait, right? Even now, there's a bit of fear in her voice. I smile and rest a hand on her shoulder. Okay. I'll be waiting. Amy gives me a quick kiss before she heads for the stairwell. Thanks, Hisao. See you tomorrow morning. Wouldn't miss it. I head down the stairs with the feeling of her lips on mine, suddenly aware of how much I've missed that sensation. I'll have to remember to thank Rin for getting us to talk to one another. Although, it's possible she won't even realize what she's done. Still, enough for her, I doubt I'll have to ever been able to confront Amy again. I guess I needed more help than I realized. Tomorrow, however, I'll need to stand alone through whatever Amy's trying to work herself up to doing. I'll be up to the task, I hope. The morning sun is bright through my open window, and the sound of my alarm quickly has me up and about. I slept surprisingly well last night, secure in the knowledge that at least I've gotten another chance with Emmy. If I can just keep myself from doing anything stupid, then maybe I'll find out what's been eating her recently. I have a few educated guesses, but nothing concrete, and certainly nothing I'm going to say to her. I'd much prefer to have her tell me herself. Although I can't help remembering the nurse's warning that I might not like what she has to say. Do I really need to know that badly? What if it's something awful that makes me repulsed by her? Can I really say that I'm prepared to handle whatever she has to say regardless of what it is? Amy said she wanted to tell me without screwing it up. What the hell did she mean by that? What's there to screw up? I suppose. Not much use worrying about it, though. I'll find out today. It occurs to me that I really, really need a run this morning to clear my mind, if nothing else. Amy is waiting for me as promised,
looking a little haggard but otherwise bright and cheerful, much more than any previous day this week.
Hisao, you're late.
I wave my hand dismissively.
Nonsense, you're just early.
Amy grins back, and it feels like we're finally back to where we should be with one another. Except now, Amy, not just me, wants to take another step forward. Although a part of me worries that she'll back out at the last second.
Hurry up and stretch, Hisao. I don't want to miss the bus.
The bus?
I said I wanted you to come back to my house, remember? And I promised Mom will be there in time for lunch. So I wanted to hurry.
Early start, huh?
It's more for my mom's benefit than anything else.
Well,
That's okay.
I unsuccessfully try to guess what Emmy has planned, shortly before realizing that it doesn't matter that much to me. I quickly go through my warm-up routine when Emmy bounces impatiently from one foot to another. She really does seem to want to get moving as soon as possible. Oh, I like she has this expression. The run is over so quickly, I can hardly believe I haven't fallen over dead afterwards. Emmy set a blistering pace, and I, in my foolishness, kept up with her. It's good to know he can keep up without dying. Ow. That's good. Well, onto the last few laps. I had to slow down just in case, but I don't mind. Amy's waiting patiently for me when I finish, as patiently as she can wait anyway.
Finish? Good. Come on.
Grabbing my arm, she practically rushes me down to the nurse's office.
You seem in a hurry, Emmy. Trying to catch the early bus? Yeah, I told Mom I'll be back for lunch.
Well, I'll take care of you first then.
But Hisao's got to come with me too.
The nurse raises a single eyebrow at that statement and peers at the two of us searchingly.
Really? Today, huh?
Emmy's response is a nod, followed by a surprising shy grin.
Well then, we'll make this quick.
Emmy enters the nurse's office, and I patiently wait outside for her to be finished, wondering just why the nurse seemed to be surprised by Emmy's declaration. I'm guessing the anniversary's today, right? I feel like I'm missing out on some joke or the significance of today, beyond the fact that it is clearly significant in some way, of course. True to his word, the nurse has Emmy out of his office surprisingly quick. I take her place after promising to meet up at the front gate. The nurse takes my pulse and listens for a bit.
Your heart beats faster than usual.
Been pushing yourself again, have you? Well, Emmy seemed to be in a rush to get through the run, so... I'm not surprised. Today is rather important to her, you know. I suspected that could be the case, but I have no idea why that's the case. She hasn't told you? Interesting. So, you're not going to tell me either then?
No, I'm not.
I suspect that Emmy has her own plan for explaining today to you, and I don't want to mess with that. You'll find out soon enough. So, what's the rush? Now, as for your heart, I will take it easy the rest of the day. No spontaneous races or anything like that, got it? I suddenly remembered Hisao running through the airport, man. In Lily's route. Guy was so close to dying, man. Hisao.
Got it. She won't have her running legs on anyway, right?
No, but if you think something like that is going to stop her, good point. I don't think it'll be much of an issue today of all days, but still. He's trying to reassure me he's doing a terrible job. I'm quickly becoming more and more worried about what today could be for. Like, suddenly finding out Emmy's in a cult or something. At the same time, if today's such a big deal, and Emmy wants me to be with her, or then maybe she really does want to grow closer to me. Maybe this will be the answer to all the riddles, the sleepless nights, and the sudden mood swings. Either way, I barely remembered to thank the nurse before taking off as quickly as I dare for my room to get a shower and throw on some decent looking clothes.
And today is important as it seems to be. I should dress appropriately. Amy, of course, proves me wrong as soon as I reach the front gate, wearing her usual shirt and shorts. So at least I know it's not a terribly formal affair, whatever it is. You're early, Hisao. Not as early as you. Eager are we? Amy cheekily pokes out her tongue. The bus stop isn't very crowded at this hour, which seems to please Emmy. We end up relaxing a little as we wait. We sit in silence for a while, but I can tell that Emmy's trying to work herself up to say something. I don't have anything to say myself, so I sit waiting for her to talk. It doesn't take too long. So, I'm sure you're curious as to why the nurse thought it was so weird for me to be bringing you along today. I was a bit, yes, but if you're not ready to tell me. Amy stops my sentence by placing a finger at my lips. Oh, I like that shit. Don't tempt me, Hisao. I don't want to tell you this, but I'm just uncertain as how to go about it. I don't want to keep delaying or deferring. I just want to be able to say it. So, say it. You know that it's not going to be that easy for me, Hisao. So treat it like running, warming up to it with something small and easy and go from there. But don't do it too fast, okay? I'm a patient man. I can wait for you to get to it. Amy seems to consider my words, weighing them against what is probably a desire to get it over with. I admit, as much as I keep telling Amy to take her time, I wouldn't mind her getting it over with either. But somehow I know that Amy probably needs more time than the bus ride will provide to get it all out, whatever it is. Yeah. Maybe you're right. Oh, sorry. The bus stop probably isn't the best place for this anyway. But just to make sure that I don't go back on my word, I'll at least say this. She takes a deep breath, lets it out, and after a moment says in a low voice, "We're going to see my dad today." The words hang in the air, and I can see that Emmy's afraid that I'll panic and disappear in response, which a part of me almost wants to do. Wait, what? Which a part of me almost wants to. Why would you do that? Why would you do that, man? Why would you even think about that? What the never mind. I'm annoyed he thought about it at some point, man. I'm annoyed. I mean, don't get me wrong. He doesn't know the state what her dad is like. So, this might just be a natural, oh no, 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 I'm gonna meet her dad and all. But I feel that it's very pathetic when you. I feel like it's very pathetic if in this stage you're thinking about it like that. But you know what? Never mind. Let's continue the story. I'm just annoyed. Okay, there you go. But it would be stupid of me to back out, or to suddenly abandon the promise I made to be there for Emmy when she needs me. Good. He thought about this, but I was so annoyed he even thought about that for a second. The nurse thought it was so weird for her to bring me along. She doesn't bring anyone along, or at least I'm willing to bet that she hasn't before today. The day seems to take on an even greater significance. What has it taken Emmy to even get this far? And why is that the best I can imagine as a response? Yeah, I don't know what to say. Nothing, I think. Just promise that you're going to come with me. Of course, you know I will. Amy smiles wanly. Wanly, looking a little relieved. Good. In that case, we better get going. The bus pulls up just a little after she finishes the sentence. Vague memories of my first trip out here come to mind as I step off the bus, but unfortunately, they're too vague to be of any use. I will be the first to admit that I don't quite recall how to get to Emmy's house, so I let her lead the way. He seemed content to walk in silence, and I myself had no idea what I could possibly say. So the two of us arrived at her house, having said nothing since getting off the bus. Emmy's mother opens the door and doesn't seem surprised to see me standing next to her daughter. I expect that Emmy would have phoned ahead to let her mother know of the change in plans. Emmy, it's Sal. You're just in time. Lunch is just about ready. Great. I was afraid we might be running late. As fast as you were going this morning? I doubt there was much of a chance for that. I certainly hope she wasn't too much of a bother, Sal. She tends to get a little paranoid about being on time when food's involved. I hadn't noticed. This earns me a swat on the arm from Emmy, who, despite the serious nature of our conversation in the bus and the almost brooding quiet walk, has quickly become cheerful again. Probably to keep her mother from worrying about whatever it is Emmy plans to tell me later. Mrs. Ibarazaki ushers us in, and in short order, we're around the table devouring lunch. I hadn't realized how hungry I was until I got here, but for once I seem to be eating almost as much as any. Goodness, it's a good thing I made so much. The two of you are acting like you haven't eaten in days. I skipped breakfast this morning. Me too. Had to catch the bus, I assume. That, and I figured you'd make too much food, so it wouldn't matter. Okay, this is Emmy, sorry. That, and I figured you make too much food, so it wouldn't matter if I skipped breakfast. Well, it's good to know that I'm predictable. You know what? I can't do a voice between these two right now. You know what? Never mind. Whatever. Amy nods enthusiastically, and conversation falls off again as we very nearly clear the table of anything edible. It is a testament to the sheer amount of food on offer that we don't finish everything. I lean back in my chair with a sigh and thank Mrs. Ibarazaki for the food. I'm glad you liked it, Hisao. Now, has Emmy told you where we're going? Yeah, sort of. Is it far from here? Not really. Not really. We'll drive there at the same time. It closes kind of early. I nod in assent and stand up ready to go. Well then, shall we? Mrs. Ibarazaki nods and leaves the room to grab her keys. Amy, I notice, has started to fidget nervously. Second thoughts? Amy smiles slightly at me and shrugs, and she falls silent again. This probably means that I'm right, and she's starting to regret bringing me along. Bro, if you know what to do here, this would be the right moment to do that. Not that I blame her. She's done such a good job of shutting me out that I doubt it's easy to suddenly open up. Honestly, I'm worried that she's forcing it. But she said, while waiting for the bus, that I'm not supposed to give her a chance to back out. And since I promised to go with her anyway, I suppose there's not much of a choice. I can't go back on my promise, and she can't go back on hers. I just hope the both of us are up to it. We're off. Emmy's mother blows through the dining room and collects the two of us and heads out the door at a brisk pace. Now I know where her daughter gets it from. He didn't do the thing I wanted him to do. That would have been like, you know. Anyway, he doesn't know what he's doing. Whatever. The car pulls up at the cemetery gates, and I feel Emmy tense up beside me. I reach over and give her hand a comforting squeeze, which causes her to relax a little. Okay, at least he's doing it here. Emmy's mother doesn't follow us, explaining that she prefers to visit the grave alone. Emmy steps through the gates and looks back, as if to make sure I'm still there. We step into the cemetery. I don't feel comfortable in cemeteries. Gravestones litter the ground, each one serving as a reminder that someone used to be alive and is no longer. How many died young? How many were as old as I am now? When do I wind up with a marker of my own? How much longer do I have left? The concept of not waking up, not seeing Emmy anymore, is not a happy one. It frightens me, and I very nearly turn around and exit right then and there. I don't want to go among dead people. I don't want to see their stones and think about who they were or what they could have been if only they had more time. Then I look at the girl next to me, and my resolve returns. Amy is striding purposely down the path. Wait, sorry. Eyes clear, setting a pace that's very nearly a jog. The sooner we get there, I suspect she thinks the better. We're here. A gravestone, wholly unremarkable in everything, except for the name etched upon it. The grass has grown up around the base. Amy's eyes are riveted to the stone. After a few moments, she turns around, looking surprisingly calm yet solemn. Pink's not actually my favorite color, you know. I can tell she's wearing green right now, you know. What? I'm warming up to it. Ah, people tend to think that pink's my favorite color. I think it's because I like strawberries, and even though those are red, they just assume that pink's the right color for strawberries. And it's my favorite color, but it's not. I'm too polite to tell anyone otherwise, of course. And it's not the kind of thing worth getting worried about. But I'll bet even though you think pink was my favorite color. Blue. That's my favorite color. Oh, that's a surprise. I thought it was green because she's wearing green. Well, so much for that. Blue. That's my favorite color. My mother and dad are the only two who know that, and now you do too. Thanks for telling me, I think. You're welcome. There's a pause as she considers what to say next, drawing a quick breath. I can't carry a tune to save my life. I can hum. But actually, singing a song is something I've never been able to do. I don't mind, because I'm not a fan of karaoke anyway. I pronounce it in English way. Karaoke. Karaoke. Anyways, never mind. There's two pronunciations for that. That's a random tidbit. Anyway, let's continue. Well, that's one potential date idea out of the window. People all think I'm really a popular and friendly person, but I only have a few close friends. Probably because I keep everyone in the dark. But I think it's also because I hate the idea of losing a close friend. There aren't many people worth the risk. I'm terrible at saying goodbye. I sometimes think that I only run because it's what I used to do with my father, because her dad was a runner. You're not my first boyfriend. I dated a guy for a long while during my second year in Yamaku. But in the end, we broke up because I didn't want to get closer to him. I couldn't live with that distance between us. Her rate of speaking increases slightly, as if she's rushing toward a finish line. It's like she's confessing everything she ever hid. I like how she also randomly mentions, "Oh, I was in a relationship before." Not that I need to know. I'm actually 1 year older than you. Everyone thinks I'm younger because I'm short, but I had to skip 1 year because of my accident. They initially thought I was paralyzed when they pulled me out of the wreckage. I lost my legs already, but they were afraid that I wouldn't even be able to use what was left of them. After the surgery, it was clear their initial assessment was mistaken. I couldn't feel my legs because of shock. Short-term paralysis due to the other trauma I experienced. My recovery was one of the fastest they ever seen, or so they told me. I never found out if they were serious about that or if they told that to all patients learning to walk again. I. She pauses, gathering herself for one last effort. 8 years ago, today, I lost my legs. And I lost my father as well. He died on the way to the hospital. I didn't even get to go to the gravesite until 2 months later. And couldn't attend his funeral. I'm so sorry. Don't be. That's what everyone always says. That they're sorry. I hate hearing that. Like, anyone could have done anything to change what happened. You know? The best piece of advice I got? These things happen. I don't even remember who said it. But I guess they didn't have anything better to say. But it's true, you know. These things happen. And there's nothing you can do about it. They aren't necessarily planned. And they aren't always bad. And they aren't always good. But they are. So I made that decision that I would live without worrying about the future. And to be sure that I never had to say goodbye again. I decided I wouldn't let people get close to me anymore. After all, they could be taken at any time. And you know what? She laughs. A little bitterly. Her eyes start to well up with tears. And I step forward to embrace her. But she holds up a hand to stop me. Not finished. A deep breath, and she continues. It worked pretty well. Until I met you. And saw that you were trying to adjust the stuff here. So I thought I'd help. And then you were so nice. And I couldn't help it. I just... The tears are flowing now. She accepts the embrace this time. The rest of her sentence is mumbled onto my chest. I tried not to fall for you. But I did. Wait. Let's go back. Sorry. I clicked too early. And then I tried to keep you at a distance like with my first boyfriend, but I couldn't. But I've been so scared. Because I don't want to lose you. And I might anyway. Wait, where am I? Hey, I'm still around, right? And maybe it won't be forever. But don't you think it'll be fun while it lasts? Neither of us could survive the day. There could be a bus crash or something. But so long as I know that I've been with you, I don't think it matters. A sudden thought strikes me, and I can't help laughing. My condition had me scared of dying so badly that I immediately seized on the opportunity Emmy presented to improve my odds of living longer. But without Emmy, would there have been any motivation to keep up with my running? It hits me that Emmy is the reason I want to go running every day, so I can spend as much time with her as possible. Emmy looks up at me confused. We'll go on living until we stop. And when we stop living, we'll be able to know that at least we've had time together. And I wouldn't have it any other way. Because I love you, Emmy. And right now, that's enough for me. Emmy smiles through her tears and steps back from me. You know, it's funny. What is? I thought that the best way to live in the moment was to do it alone. But now, I don't think I'd have it any other way either. I'm glad I met you, Hisao. Well, these things happen. I hate when they use the line. Amy and I stayed by the grave for a while. As Amy pays her respects to her father, when she's ready to go, We exit the graveyard side by side. Emi's mother drives us back to Yamaku. The trip back is very quiet. We wave goodbye as the car drives off, and I glance down at the girl leaning on my arm. How are you feeling? Emi shrugs noncommittally. I'll be fine. Come on, let's go. We pause outside the girl's dorm, and then turn to face Emi, ready to say goodbye.
Oh man, okay, I gotta I gotta be ready for this image. You know what happens next, guys.
Why don't you come up for a while?
Okay.
The walk up to her room is in silence. I'm not sure I'm not sure why I'm supposed I'd be turned away at the door. I guess I just assumed she wanted to be alone. Her mom, the nurse, hell, everyone who knew the significance of the day seemed to think it's best to leave Emmy alone.
My guy, don't you understand? She wants you to be with her today. She wants to be with you in so much so much ways right now. You were able to do something she fuck. Okay, let's continue this shit, man. Wait a second. Why the fuck is the Saber Alteria Pendragon altar is like 550 55k JPY? What the fuck is this? Sorry. I got distracted by looking at a FGO figure. Wait, I'll come back here.
But she took me into the graveyard with her. She told me the whole story of what happened on the day she lost her legs. She wanted me around. The significance of this does not escape me. Emmy opens the door and steps into her room, not even bothered to invite me in, holding the door for me expectantly.
I gotta be ready for that image, man.
I step in, and the door swings shut behind me. Hey, can I ask you a favor? Sure. Can't guarantee I'll do it, but Amy giggles and pulls me into a kiss that starts out soft but deepens into something almost desperate. Stay with me, please.
All right, I'm gonna get ready for the image, man, because I don't know when it'll start. So when it'll start now.
Her voice has dropped to a whisper. The question's barely audible over the sound of my.
All right, it's 12:24. Like, because it kind of feels like we're finishing the round. So you know what? I'm just gonna let this happen. I can probably survive an hour or two late of sleep.
Her voice has dropped to a whisper. The question is barely audible over the sound of my own breathing. There's something about the way she asked that question, the hesitancy in it, the quiet voice that makes me think that she doesn't mean tonight. No, she means exactly what she said. Stay with me.
Wait, let me at least show this one.
Stay with me. Not tonight or forever, because both of us know that there's no such thing as forever.
Okay. Okay.
There's no time limit to her requests. There's just the request. The favor. Can I do that? Can I stay with her? Of course, Hisao. Of course. We embrace again. Emmy guiding me toward her bed, stepping backwards with care, until she sits now on the edge.
All right, we know where this is going, guys. Oh, good thing I put the sensor image up. I already know where this is going.
She's gotten my shirt off by this point, and I've similarly lifted hers off over her head, bra and all. Her shorts comes off just as quickly. With practiced ease, she removes her legs and puts me onto the side of the bed with her, my hand coming around her smooth shoulder. I cast my gaze over her face, down her neck, following the line to the swell of her breast before. I lower my head, planting kisses across her chest, listening to her breath pitch as her hand slides further and further down my chest. As I work my way back to her neck, I can feel her hands working at my belt, now fumbling slightly with a buckle, now unbuttoning and now unzipping until my pants fall to the floor.
Her panties are notably darkened in the right place. Ooh, showing that my earlier ministrations ministrations have produced some results. Okay. I step back quickly and shuck my boxers and move back in as Emmy reaches over into a drawer on her nightstand, removing a small foil package. Oh, okay, she has a condom, right? She tears it open with a quick jerk of her teeth and reaches down to apply the protection, which, as always, causes me to gasp a little. Man, no foreplay. What the fuck is this? Anyway, her expression slowly changes as she takes the view of me and.
Wait a second.
Oh, this is Emmy, by the way. Emmy.
Wait a second. Are you still in your socks?
Oh, by the way, she has a very mischievous look right now. I'm just like. She's naked with a mischievous look.
I pause and look down. Apparently I am.
Hisao.
Yeah. Does that matter?
Emmy.
Take them off. It's weird if you still have them on.
Hisao.
You know you still got your socks on too.
Emmy.
Yes, but I don't have my legs on, so it doesn't count.
Unable to deny her logic and impatient to have the conversation over anyway, and quickly remove the offending items. I'm so eager to get back at Emmy that I practically jump on top of her, pushing her down playfully. Oh, this is a nice CG. Holy shit, man. I hope you guys could see this. You guys could. Too bad you can't see this on Steam. Holy shit, you're gonna miss out on Steam. Fuck that. Although I'm gonna go like speedrun up Lily's route in Steam and just end it there. Reminds me, am I gonna play Fate Stay Night? No, I actually want to wait for Hall and Atraxia and that's the one I'm actually gonna play because I never actually read that. I never really read that. I went through Fate Stay Night, but I never read Hall and Atraxia. I don't know how to pronounce that shit, but you know what I mean. Anyway, let's continue. Amy's giggling and squirming quickly ends, replaced by a happy sigh as I enter her. Breathing deeply as she savors the feeling, she spreads her arms to grab the sheets. Her breathing is in my ear as I begin moving, whispering words of encouraging, nipping at my neck, now at my mouth. My hips hit the edge of the mattress, shaking the bed. A part of my brain vaguely wonders if I should try to be quieter before succumbing to the waves of pleasure racing up my spine. Amy's stomach tenses as she grows closer to the edge, and as our bodies both begin to glisten with the sweat, time begins to become hazy. The sound of my own breathing mingles with Emmy's panting, and I ready myself for the final surge before surrendering to the rushing wave of climate. This is a very fast H scene. Emmy's body shudders and she cries out, her fingers digging into my back as I too lose control of myself. The back arches as I let myself go, feeling my body spasm as I orgasm. Bruh, this is so quick. What the fuck? Well, to be fair, I did hear that supposedly Emmy's route has the same amount of H scenes as Lily's route than my brain thinks. Wait a second, does the last one count? Because when the last one was like Lily diddling herself and then she and Hisao were about to start, but Hisao gets a heart attack. So I'm guessing this matches that scene, I guess, because that was a really quick scene. Anyway, whatever. I collapse next to Emmy, who almost immediately curls against me, smiling. Mentally, I feel grateful that Emmy keeps her nails short, otherwise I think she might have drawn blood. I sip up briefly to dispose of the now used condom and lay it down next to Emmy, who's in turn taking care of cleaning herself off. For a while we lay in silence, savoring the feeling of being next to one another. Emmy's the first to speak.
Hey, Sal?
Hmm?
Thanks for coming with me today.
I smile and plant a kiss on her head. Of course. My pleasure. Emmy snuggles closer, and I can feel her breathing begin to shaken as she begins to drift off to sleep. Just as she's about to fall asleep, She wakes up enough to mutter a single sentence.
I love you, Hisao.
Then she's out like a light, leaving me feeling like I'm on top of the world. I draw the slumbering Emmy as close as possible, pull the covers over us to keep the chill off, and fall asleep as happy as I've ever been. Ooh. I think I should be fine now. I don't know, let's wait the next scene. The morning light seems to reach further into Emmy's room than it does into mine. The results in my waking up earlier that I would have if I had gone back to my room last night had previously been our routine. I did not realize it was until this morning, but this is the first time we actually spent the night together. A small movement from my partner's still slumbering form causing me to look to the side. Her hair sprayed across her face. Amy continues to sleep peacefully, curled up next to me. It's slightly weird seeing her without her trademark twin tails, but it's also a look I could get used to. Small signs of the bed or necessities of her curling up, but I'm pretty sure she would have done so anyway. Yeah, I think Emmy gets buffed if she doesn't have her twin tails, if I remember correctly. Yeah, I don't see her like this is the scene. Probably safe to show this. Yeah, this is the only scene so far. So, but I bet they're still naked. I mean, they're obviously naked, but like this if the sprite shows up, it's going to be naked. So I'm still keeping this in for now. Let's continue. The covers are nearly over her head, and I smile as an errant strand of hair causes her nose to twitch slightly. Unable to help myself, I draw her a little closer, a move which she seems to think is a good idea. Her steady breath raises a trail of goosebumps on my chest, but I don't mind. I'm no longer tired, but I do not feel a need to move from my position. Amy's warm body is in a repose against mine is far too comfortable to move. I gaze up at the ceiling, consider how it is that we got to this point. We've been close for a while, but not this close. It seems like only yesterday that she ran into me in the hallway after apologizing, decided to take an interest in my well-being. But that grew into something else, which I at least was not expecting. One thing is for certain. Having found Emmy, I will try as hard as I can not to lose her. My morning music is interrupted by further movement from Emmy. Her eyes flutter open, and she seemed briefly confused by my presence in her bed, as well as her current state of dress, which is non-existent. I could probably show this at least. I think this is okay. Yeah, I think she does get buff with like her hair with her twin tails. Actually, her hair seems to be like longer than it's supposed to, because like I think her hair is longer than what her twin tails suggest it should be. Because her twin tails isn't that long. So that's why it's kind of weird it's this long. But I really do feel like she gets buff with like longer hair, or the hair down. Anyway, let's continue. I don't know what else shows up here, so let's not risk this. I mean, I already fucked up earlier. Then she smiles happily and sits up, her face looking down at me.
Good morning, Hisao.
Hi. Sleep well?
Yeah, I did. Exhausting day yesterday, you know.
I think back over yesterday's trip to the graveyard.
Yeah. I'm glad to hear you slept well. How'd you sleep? Well enough. Although, you kept hogging the covers.
This earns me a shove and a stick-out tongue. I chuckle, and Amy giggles a little. And we fall quiet for a while. I soak up the feeling of how right it all seems. Waking up with Emmy by me, crammed into the bed made for one person. It's something I could get used to.
Hey, Hisao? Thanks for sticking around.
No problem. Save me the walk back anyway, right?
This draws another giggle. But then Amy's expression turns serious again. No, really. I kept trying to push you away. Because I thought that was the right thing to do. And you stuck around through it all.
I knew it. I knew it. Well, I had experience with this kind of shit, so I know what to do. Anyway,
I haven't made any of this easy for you. But you stuck it out anyway. So really, I mean it. Thank you. She punctuates this by giving me a kiss, pulling back and looking at me with an expression of affection. I reach up and ruffle her hair, smiling all the while. I'm stupidly lucky, I think, to come true everything after my heart attack, and to somehow have found this girl is nothing short of a miracle. You're very welcome, Emmy. I couldn't bear the thought of giving you up. I'll even continue to stick around if you want. I like that. That settles it then. I don't know how long my heart will keep working. I don't even really know what I'll do after this year is over, apart from going to university. As long as Emmy's around, I think I'll be okay. I managed to help her, and she managed to help me. If we keep doing that, we'll be okay, I think. So, Hisao? What do you want to do today?
wait, don't tell me this. This is how it ends. What? It ends with that. It ends with that. It ends just like that. That's it. Okay. That's it. It ends like that. I'm actually surprised it's already done. Whoa. I'm just gonna leave this for a while. And that's it for Emmy's route. I actually don't know who's the next route I'm gonna cover, but I don't think I'm gonna cover it next tomorrow or something. I'll probably get back to this game. I don't know, maybe sometime next week or some shit, or in the weekend. I actually don't know. Tomorrow I'll be starting a new game. No, I'm not gonna read fucking Fate. I'm not gonna read that. Don't worry, I'm not gonna read that. I'm going to be starting a different game, and I'm actually kind of excited to start with that. I think my excitement for that comes from what's the name of the reviewer I really like watching? There's this reviewer. Fuck, maybe I search a bit. Natsuyasumi. Oh, Tim Rogers. Okay, now. Oh, okay. So there's this game called Boku no Natsu Yasumi, and it has a spiritual successor. It was released, and last August 6th, it got an update for an English translation. So I'm gonna be starting that game off tomorrow. I'm excited to start that. Anyway, yeah. So that is Emmy's route. Again, I have no idea when I'm gonna play Katawa Shoujo again next. I actually don't know who I want next. I'm not really interested to start like Hanako's route or like Shizune's or like Rin's. I had this weird feeling that doing Lily and Emmy's route felt like I already did. I already had a feeling that I already did everything I wanted to do with this. I don't think that's right because each of them have their own different stories and all, but there's this feeling I already felt like I already completed what my current curiosity about the game, but I'm pretty sure I'll probably at least check out Hanako's and I don't know if I'm interested to check out Rin's route. I'm really not. She's in it might be, but I'm not really excited at the idea of like starting a route that goes against Lily or something like that. But I might. I don't know. I feel like I'm currently happy. Anyway, that's it for Emmy's route, and for now, Katawa Shoujo. And I hope you guys enjoy watching, and I'll see you guys on tomorrow's stream. Let me double check the name of the game. The name of the game. Fuck, I can't find it. It's in my Steam. I can't find it. It's somewhere in my Steam. What the hell? Natsumon. Okay, there you go. Natsumon. I'll install this tomorrow. I'll start it. Yeah, this is gonna be fun. Life in the Japanese countryside as a young kid who's not Japanese, but I made